Name 5 franchises with at least 5 films.
Oh my God. Fast and Furious.
Yes.
With at least 5 films.
You're missing some real big ones.
Wait, hold on. Harry Potter.
Yes.
With at least 5 movies. Wait.
You're going to kick yourself.
No,
I'm going to have to
stop
push
it.
you for an answer.
No.
Okay, hello and welcome to Pulp Kitchen. And for those of you watching the video, you'll see that George is not here.
No.
Now don't worry, I hate it when I listen to a podcast and one of my hosts isn't there. And I knew that, so you are in the safest of hands.
With Pound Shop George.
No, with the one and only Fred Asquith. Fred, thank you so much.
Hi, thank you for having me.
A Pulp Kitchen first.
Yes,
A Pulp
on
Kitchen
the main pod.
show. For those of you who support us on Patreon, you know Fred has subbed in a couple of times now for Double Take and done so very well.
Yeah.
And you're ready for the big leagues and you're
I'm
here.
ready for the big leagues. I feel like Ed Gamble rising up from Uncloaked Traitors onto main episode.
Yeah.
Or it's almost like I've been on Strictly Come Dancing, what is it called? It Takes Two.
Yeah.
And now
yeah.
I'm on the main show.
On the main show.
It's
You've
a
been-
big moment.
You've been hosting Extra Factor. You're like Ollie Murs.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
now you're doing the main
Who
show.
knows if I do a good job? George might be worried. Yeah.
Just in case those of you who don't know you, what are you, Fred? Who are you?
What am I?
What am I?
Yeah, what am I? It's a riddle. I am a comedy creator, TikTok, Instagram, at Fred Asquith, and I do silly sketches with my wife where I do silly voices and I say, darling, do you need a basket? And I just run around after her in shops. No one listening to this will have seen them. I also
don't
have maybe.
A lot of my mates have seen your stuff and they
Okay.
go, oh, it's that guy. I'm like, go say hi. Don't be weird.
Yeah, okay. And then I also have on the side a film podcast at Fred Asquith on Film, TikTok and Instagram. And that is a much smaller venture, but closer to my heart, arguably, where I talk about all things TV and film. And Pulp Kitchen, huge inspiration.
Oh,
you
thank
guys
you very
done
much.
it, smashed it, 200 episodes.
How long have you been doing the film-only content now?
I've done 36 episodes, which is...
It's like 30 more than most people ever do.
Well, this
So
is the
congrats.
thing, right? You
Yeah.
just got to keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I feel quite proud of having reached that number,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I described podcasting before. It's like running 100 meters. Like most people who are fit can
Yeah.
run 100 meters, but like it's the exercise is like, can you run continuously forever?
Exactly.
It's like everyone can make one podcast and be like, yeah, no, podcasting's easy. But like, can you come back the next week and the
Yeah.
next week? And like years later, are you still
100%,
doing it?
and
That's the game.
I think I heard that you guys were similar in that you started a previous iteration that then had a hiatus.
2017,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And so I've done the same in that I've had like 2 previous iterations of movie podcasts that haven't got past specifically 12 episodes. And so even just getting to this point, I already know like I'm settled now. I
Yes,
think
you know what
you
you
don't
want.
really get past 15 unless you're kind of on with it for the
On
long
with it,
run.
yeah, for sure.
So I'm really happy and happy to be here. I also hate it when my favorite podcasts have standing hosts.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating, especially when you feel like
we all hate that Fred's here, guys. Don't worry.
all
We're
hate the
aware
way
of
he-
it. We're aware.
Sorry. Because if you ever get a sense that they're entitled or if they don't know what they're talking about in regards to the pod, it's fucking annoying. I just want you to know that I do know what I'm talking about.
He does.
I
He really
listened
does.
to the very latest episode on the way here. It got released 40 minutes before
Yeah.
this recording. Listen to it. I'm a big
A little in
fan.
between that. I was meant to come out yesterday, but I lost time. No, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Speaking of, go and check out. We're doing a new series running through all of the genres, and we started with sci-fi. If any of you follow us on Instagram, you know that we just cast a little question out of what are the best sci-fi movies of all time, and you flooded our inbox, and we just basically casually read out all of those and sort of gave a couple of our own takes. And we want to do that with horror, with comedy, with romance, then probably some like nitty-gritty subgenres as well that aren't like the main ones but probably deserve to have their own thing. So if you enjoy the sounds of that, it's not numbered Pulp Kitchen, it's just a bit of extra fun for you. Go and
It was brilliant.
check that out.
Great shout for Contact. Big up Contact.
I just want to ask you, Fred, what are your 2 or 3 what are your 3 favorite films of all time, just so people can get to know you? Big question.
I would say they sound very stereotypical,
Yeah.
and so I kind
No,
of hate
it's like
the question.
stereotypical. Mine is
Okay,
stereotypical.
fine. I would say Whiplash, There Will Be Blood, and I would put the third one as I know this. Why am I forgetting this? There's a few. Titanic.
Yes, I love championing Titanic. It wasn't. I don't think it's cool to say how good that movie is, but it's brilliant.
I rewatched it recently, and because it does get a bad rap, right?
Yeah,
it does. I'm not really sure who from. I don't know if I've made this up.
I think we are 25 years like too late to be annoyed by the hype cycle that Titanic had.
And you think that's where it stems from?
Well, yeah, I think maybe if you're a bit old, you're 30, 31 like me, right?
32.
32, shame. I think so for my older sister who's 8 years older than me, she was like a teenager when Titanic came out. For her, it was like, it was the Avengers Endgame. It was everything, not in the same way, but she was like, this film was everywhere and it was so hyped and box office success and it was Leo and it was Kate and it was kind of like everywhere.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it became cool to not give it credit for being this like artistic film. It was sort of by numbers, upstairs, downstairs, rich girl, poor girl, disaster movie, which isn't very cool.
Maybe certain similar transition we've seen with the Wicked thing right now,
right? Yeah,
which is that because it's been talked about so heavily for 2 years, it may have tainted people's opinion even on the first one. Not mine, but people may be like, "Oh, I'm just sick of Wicked in general."
That's me, to be honest with you. We're going to get onto Wicked. So today we're going to talk about Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out 3, and we're also going to cover Wicked for good, just in case you were wondering. But yeah, I'll be honest. We'll talk about this when we talk about Wicked. That's how I felt about Wicked. But you know, we'll get onto it. I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. But people dog on Titanic, and no, it's sumptuous filmmaking, and
it's devastating.
I said this on my pod, devastating indeed. I said it on my pod that there's a reason why we would expect there'll be another movie about gladiators, for example. We'd expect there'll be another movie about, I don't know, name another really famous IP.
Yeah,
something. There's going to be another Harry Potter on HBO.
Star Wars, you call it.
I don't think there's going to be another mainstream Titanic movie, at least not until the effects are so outdated. We've improved so much that we kind of should just redo this again.
And they look fine.
They look great. And there's a reason why we haven't done it. It's because we nailed it. You can't imagine a better realization of that disaster and a better story to be implanted into that disaster. Why would you do that again? And like, for all you can say about Titanic, people saying it's too saccharine, smushy, whatever, it is kind of perfect, I think.
The logic suggests that Hollywood would have done a legacy remake of Titanic already, because it was 97 and we're 2025.
And why haven't they? It's because they know.
You wouldn't dare touch it.
No, they know.
And they re-released it for its 25th a few years ago.
Yeah, in 3D I went to see it.
Yeah, and it all like bumped its numbers again. So I think I rewatched it. Was it near COVID times? Within like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it's a good
and I was
one.
ready to have my arms folded and be like, oh, it'll pass the time.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart. I was like, this works. This is good.
And so had that been a while since you'd seen it?
A long time. I probably hadn't seen it since I was like early teens.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but I've probably seen it like 5-6 times.
Yeah, okay.
So I had 2 older sisters.
Cynical teenage boy, you were like...
I'm cool now. No. You're not too cool for Titanic.
No, never.
It's great. George hadn't seen it. And I think I said this to him. I think he was in a bit of a... like maybe a bit too good for Titanic because he had like a very high opinion of like maybe I don't like these certain films, and he'd admit that too.
Yeah.
And so he hadn't seen it and then watched it and was like, yes, this is very good.
And the funny thing is though that there is that reputation of like it's not quite a chin strokers movie. Like cinephiles don't refer to it very often. But then at the same time, it is a James Cameron movie, and you know we can debate whether we like where he's gone with his Avatar IP, but James Cameron is lauded for his other movies by cinephiles, Terminator 2, Aliens in particular.
Yeah.
And I see Titanic as part of that same canon of like, wow, how good is James Cameron? But it feels like it's set aside, and I think it's just because it's very romantic and it's not, and let's be honest, a lot of cinephiles are guys who don't want to be seen to be smushy and they don't want to watch romance movies, and I kind of think that's it.
A really interesting one for one of my comfort watches is I endlessly rewatch the special features of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, just sort of endlessly. It's like there's like 50-60 hours of content that I'll watch through, and it's always really fascinating to hear like this is for like the special features of The Fellowship of the Ring, and no, The Lord of the Rings hasn't been released yet, but he's like having these really interesting conversations with Weta and the digital people, like trying to figure out how they do Gollum or how they do the Balrog. And it's really interesting to hear the conversations of what they're talking about are the markers for what they have to hit. And they'll talk about like Jar Jar Binks has just been done by George Lucas for The Phantom Menace. How do we do an animated character that beats that? Which is funny because we would look back at Jar Jar Binks now and be like, that looks rubbish. And they'll say, how do we do Minas Tirith went like as a large thing with people moving across it, when like James Cameron's done Titanic, where he had this large digital thing with people and the camera goes from there and it zooms out. And I'm like, yeah, if you go back 26 years, 27 years, like those are the tent poles for what would have been the best. And I think they do still deserve to be held up that way.
100%. Yeah, they are pillars of like the journey we've been on. And I was watching a video recently, like dissecting like animation in the late 90s, early 90s, when they were devising Shrek and Toy Story at the same time. And I didn't know that Shrek had sort of like a pilot 10-minute short made about him at the same time that Toy Story did. And it was like this horrible, like grimy, dark, gothic.
I think I've seen clips of this.
Yeah, and he was like a grizzly Shrek, and he looked really scary.
Christopher Nolan's Shrek,
right? Yeah, and it looked like the level of animation that you would literally expect from a
PS2
I don't
game.
even know, yeah, like a PS1 even.
Yeah.
And so yes, that development is really, really interesting, and like I think they're such important steps. Given that it's a step, though, it really still holds up. There's only a few bits in Titanic where you can see the seams of it.
Yeah, I think if you zoom, I think now, especially if you watch it on a 4K TV, which it was never really meant to be seen on those wides, when you see like the people walking down, they look like those Playmobil figures.
Yeah,
like, they look like Tars from Interstellar.
That was the bit that didn't hold up to the exactly to the Tars. Yeah.
you know the way he walks. That's my closest description. Like
the way
that's
Tars walks.
That's how many polygons they had. It's just like,
I'm fascinated by how Tars walks in the ocean on the ocean scene.
Yeah,
and he kind of like spins through the water.
Have you seen the guys in the green gimp suits who are just pulling him along?
Did they?
Yeah, for a lot of it.
So Nolan. Oh my god. No, yeah, that's the bit that in Titanic it didn't. Yeah, it didn't hold up to IMAX 3D conversion in the walking extras.
Yes,
because there's a moment where the captain is like walking to look over the bow.
Yeah,
and it is like. It's like a fucking advert, CGI or something.
Have there been any like big remasters part outside of that you've gone, oh, they shouldn't have done that? I remember, I think I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark in 4K.
What was the problem with that one?
And it still looks beautiful. I just think it was too sharp. And I think it wasn't, nothing about it, I don't think was made to be received that sharp. So I don't believe the monitors on the day they were filming it were that sharp. I don't believe the cinemas that people were showing it on were that sharp.
Right.
And so when you watch it on like, you know, if you've got a good TV at home, which like has all of these sharpening things and more resolution than they would have ever worked with, I sometimes think I can see the dust on the jacket and the hairs, and like the logic should be that should suck me in more, but weirdly it kind of takes me out. And I've got a whole thing to say about the cinematography of Wicked for Good, by the way, which I'll save for later. Yeah.
No, it's such an interesting discussion. Like, yes, you can see the dust on the jacket of Indiana Jones. Let's use that as an example. I know it's hypothetical. Yeah. But I think it's that when you see it that clearly, you can feel that the dust has been sprinkled on by the first aid. Yeah. It's like it's too
Whereas when you
real.
watched it back in the day, it should have been this like vague blur of dust. I would have always picked it up as dust subconsciously, but now I'm like, I can see the individual bits of dust. I'm picturing the opening scene where he's staring at the thing, and I'm like, this looks brighter and more colourful and just like more real, but actually something's been taken away. So
100%.
I'm almost like, it's not always something to be gained apart from money by like going back and touching these things and bringing them back.
That's why I only watched Titanic on my VHS record from 1997. No, and the other remaster one I heard about, which you will have talked about, was David Fincher correcting his curtains in Panic Room. Have you heard about that?
No.
Oh, he did a re-release. I think it was for 4K Blu-ray.
He did a George Lucas.
And he went back and he CGI corrected the alignment of the curtains in a scene in Panic Room so that they were hanging straight rather than crumpled. That makes me sad. Because first of all, that's like adding artifice to a director's work who has already got artifice in it, but also in a period of his career where he wasn't as artificial as he is now. I think you watch a David Fincher film now and it feels sanitized. It just about works. I really liked The Killer.
Me too.
But back in the Panic Room Fight Club days, it was a perfect blend of like clinical and sort of real.
Yes, yeah.
And to go back and correct curtains is just like...
It's a bit manic, isn't it? It's like, accept the mistake for what it is and love it. Because that says exactly about who Fincher is. It's not that he watched back Panic Room was like, I'm going to pay thousands.
And that's what he's focusing on. And it's not a mistake. He will think it's a mistake. I don't know why that would be a mistake.
Yeah, I really want to check out the despecialized editions of Star Wars, purely just for the fact that I know that they exist. And
what do you mean by despecialized, sorry?
So, you know that Star Wars has been are you a big Star Wars fan, actually? No.
Not big, but
Not big.
obviously
So Star Wars has been touched and re-released obviously a million times. And George Lucas has gone in at the number of different, like, call it VHS release, the DVD, the Blu-rays that eventually came out, and now these Disney versions. So, for example, Jabba the Hutt is not, as the digital worm, is not in episode 4. He's just a man, but because of the consistency that they didn't know Jabba the Hutt was going to be this big worm, they re-put him back into 4.
He's a man.
Correct me if I'm wrong, big Star Wars fans, but in episode 4, when Han Solo first is talking to him outside of the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, "You owe money," and he's like, "Jabba, chill." That's not Jabba the Hutt as a worm; it's a man. And so obviously, I think later on they were like, "No, Jabba the Hutt is this huge grotesque worm thing. We need to go back and retcon it." There's loads of CG.
This is blowing my fucking mind.
Oh my god,
He's
dude!
a man.
Go on YouTube
So
and type in
I
despecialized Star Wars editions, and they'll show you side by side of what Star Wars used to look like.
So I knew that he'd added like certain CGI animals. There's a bit where they go into Tatooine and the CGI animals and stuff. I knew that. Jabba the Hutt being a man has blown my fucking mind. I just thought it was like a practical worm, and then they made him a CGI worm.
There's loads, like just the look and the sound of the lightsabers was changed, the overall grade, like loads of special, more than I can remember. It's genuinely fascinating to just look at the YouTube videos, and I'll show you the side by side, and you'll see like the very grading and the color and the scan of the film is completely different. And I have my good memory of what like I remember, like especially the original Star Wars as being, but I know that that's tainted, and I have a false impression of like the new versions of what they are.
Because I don't necessarily have a problem with the director, like what they would see as improving their work over time. You know, it's their work, whatever. What bothers me is that like if that's subjective to them, and if the audience deem it as not an improvement, there's like new generations that are seeing this edited version that don't get that original experience. Like I have only seen Blade Runner once or twice, and I still couldn't really tell you which one to watch.
Who knows what version of Blade Runner I've watched?
I assume it's the final cut, but then Ridley Scott finished the final cut in 20-something, and really recent Ridley Scott's not as good as 80s Ridley Scott, so I don't know which Ridley Scott to trust. I'll go watch the original.
The Blade Runner diehards are like screaming, "Oh no, it's the directors, not the final."
I know, but that's the problem, isn't it? And not everyone cares to look into that, and so audiences are just getting splintered and may not be getting the best experience.
We'll move on in a minute, but we talked about the Matrix one recently, which got rescanned in 4K, and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, the Matrix is green because it's the Matrix," and then they rescanned it for the 4K Blu-ray, and it was blue. And people like minor blue. And people were like, "Why is it blue? Where's the green?" And then it was a rescan of the original film reel.
So it's how it was supposed to look.
And it was how it's supposed to look. It was a little bit too green for the DVD that released. And it's like, but we prefer the blue one. It's like, you don't even like, what now is true? Because if more people arguably have seen the DVD over and over and over again, and that's the truer version. And if you're a huge Matrix fan, you go and you buy the 4K Blu-ray for your collection, and you're like, what the fuck?
But as someone like you who is into the technicalities of cinematography, like saying what is true about color grading is a whole minefield for wider audiences that I don't think they are even aware of. Like how you can change the feel, tone, and texture of a movie in post to such a large extent.
Once you start playing with it.
And I think that confuses people if you get in the weeds on that. And so they kind of
people who know the 4K re-release of Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship had a cooler grade than Two Towers and Return of the King. And for the 4K, they warmed up Fellowship.
Right, I didn't know this.
Tiny, you're again, like there's wonderful videos where people hold these things up for people like me that really like it. But I'm just like, God, like that. And then I'll see the old one and I'm like, that's Fellowship. What is this new one I'm watching? And you obviously don't know if you don't know. But like warmth and coolness totally affects the look and feel of film. 100%. Like any Fincher film is like cold and sterile 100%. And meant to hold you.
You could just turn this podcast up a bit warmer.
Yeah,
suddenly it's a romance.
It's the summer. We're filming in the summer. All right, should we go on to do some films? Let's do it. This is a quick message brought to you by our friends at Airbnb.
So your flat must be pretty close to being finished now, right?
Yes, it's looking like it should be ready within a month. So hopefully we should have a nice new place to live in by Christmas.
Oh, nice. Aren't you going away for New Year's Eve, though?
Yes. Funnily enough, we will move in and then immediately go abroad, going away to Cape Town, which will be lovely.
Oh, that is nice, yeah.
And what's great is while we're away, we're actually going to try out hosting on Airbnb. It's something we've been talking about for a while, and this is the perfect scenario to do it.
Oh, yeah. It's just so easy to do and really flexible. And like if you're out in Cape Town and your home is just sitting empty, it just makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's definitely something you guys should think about if you also have an upcoming trip. It's a really smart way to earn a little bit of extra cash. You can put that towards the holiday or even the next one if you want to do it like that.
So if you're thinking about hosting while you're away, your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much by going to airbnb.co.uk/host.
Knives Out. I have seen both of the first Knives Out movies, and I just talked about on Double Take that Rian Johnson is writing a fourth Knives Out film.
He's on with it.
Which is, I guess, is fine. A part of me was like, you can just go on to do new things. I'd be quite happy to do new things. But I clearly think that him and Daniel Craig probably really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, which is fair.
Commercially successful.
Yeah.
Knives Out 1 I really enjoyed. I watched it at home. I saw Knives Out 2 in the cinema in its limited release. And I was so glad that I saw Glass Onion in the cinema.
Yes.
And it was an example of a film for me where I really felt in a nice way the presence of everyone else in the room.
Yeah.
And it was a really jam-packed theatre, just like a standard multiplex, but sort of the laughter and the shock and like the revelations all I think really helped by the fact that other people are in the room. It was only out for a week. So obviously these are Netflix films. And I remember he signed this trilogy. And I know that Netflix obviously they want to get their Netflix money. So they will do the theatrical release, but ultimately they're trying to get you to watch it at home. I'm wondering if Wake Up Dead Man is something that I would actually really like to go watch in cinema. I understand the convenience of watching it at home, but I'm quite curious just generally to hear about how good this one is.
Yes.
So
let's get into
Wake Up
it.
a Dead Man. How did you find it?
So Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out 3. Shall I give a quick synopsis?
Yeah, just brief.
Quick synopsis.
Yeah.
Detective Benoit Blanc takes on a new case that brings him into the orbit of a charismatic priest, Monsieur Jefferson Wicks, played by Josh Brolin.
Nice.
Fantastic performance. So this is the second one was obviously a much more kind of contemporary modern aesthetic. And this has now got a religious aesthetic. It sort of brought back that archaic vibe that the first one had. It's like creaky floorboards and like pews and things like that. And it's, look, can I just start off by saying the naming convention of this franchise annoys me.
I know what you mean.
It really annoys me.
It's too hard to say. I just say Knives Out.
Knives Out is great. Knives Out, great name. Second one, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Third one, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Right, we should either be on Benoit Blanc, or Benoit Blanc mystery, or we should be on Knives Out 3, Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah.
That's clearly how we should be doing this. That aside. Anyway, so I ended up seeing this at the London Film Festival. Yeah. It was 8 a.m. I had rushed there and it was a horrendous commute. Yeah. And I got there and I managed to get a really good seat in the middle. And it was a great audience. I do agree they're great things to watch with audiences. It was twisty. It was funny. It's everything you'd expect from a Knives Out movie in the sense that it is a really... it's great to unpick these mysteries that Rian Johnson's writing. He's a very good writer of this. He's always been a great writer, since Brick. I think writing's been his strong suit. I will say up top, though, I'm not as big on the Knives Out kind of dynasty as everyone else, I would say. There is a little bit of bias here with this because I loved number one. I was really happy to see this like original story by a director that I really liked. I understood why he went back for a second one, wasn't keen on the aesthetic. And so I prefer this movie to the second one in the sense that aesthetic problem that I had is sort of fixed. I didn't feel like it
saturated and like brightly lit and maybe not like as, I don't know, dark and moody as someone might have liked.
Right. And I think that first one sort of set a precedent for the aesthetic of the franchise. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, Rian Johnson obviously saw it different, but it felt like, to me, it didn't work as well in a contemporary aesthetic. Yeah. So I like that this is more creaky wooden and it feels more like classic Knives Out, which is a weird thing to say given there's only been 3. And I think the fans of the format will love it in the sense that it's everything you'd want and expect. There's a mystery. Benoit Blanc's obviously going to solve the mystery, but how the fuck is it going to be solved? It's obviously going to be the wildest mystery you could ever imagine. There's big laughs, really great performances. We've got Josh Brolin as the Monsignor Jefferson Wicks is so funny. Josh O'Connor as the lead, basically. Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc is obviously having a brilliant time. And I love it that he's gone from one franchise to another. He's gone from being the coolest guy in the world, James Bond, to not necessarily a not cool guy, but just such a like a aloof,
it's more fun
guy.
And playful, a bit more silly.
And although I agree with you that do we want Rian Johnson to be doing this is a legitimate discussion, I do want Daniel Craig to be doing this. Yeah. I'm really happy with him having
like a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And I like that because another choice would have gone, you can't look exactly as you do because you will look like James Bond. But I like they've gone, no, it's fine. Just let him he'll do a silly voice. And then
I'll put a voice on, it'll be fine.
Deep Southern and it will throw people off.
Exactly. So yes, it's going to work for people who like Knives Out.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not a big mystery guy. I don't know about you, because
Okay.
I'm not the type of person who watches a mystery and successfully works the mystery out. My wife is.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I
I'm not
don't.
the type of guy who works out plot twists.
I let the film tell me when it's ready. I'm not
Right.
there to
Well,
catch it out.
I guess my point is that even if I tried, I couldn't do it, and I don't enjoy that process of things being obscured from me. I just kind of want a story,
Yeah.
and I just the mystery doesn't intrigue me. So that's a bias against Knives Out for me. But the problem for me with the second one and this one is that, and then I get no spoilers, is that the mystery is so convoluted and improbable that the solution has to be something equally convoluted and improbable.
Yeah.
And to the point where it becomes sort of like trite and a bit sort of like, well, okay. Like, we have to fix this impossible mystery with something that is just so sort of like, just like, yeah, convoluted is the only word for it, where it's like, well, obviously it would have to be this way because there's no other way. I can't go into detail unless you see the film, obviously, and so it's hard for me to explain what I mean. But like, there's just step by step in order to make this mystery work. And I'm like, yeah, well, obviously I'm not going to have worked this out because it's just so ridiculous. It's only something that would make sense in the context of the film.
I can see that. I mean, like, again, no spoilers for the second one if you haven't seen it, but I remember the second one, it's like, you realize there's a whole sub thing going on to the main thing. And what
Yeah.
you thought you were watching is something completely different. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like to me, that was very funny, but I understand why it's like, whatever you think you're seeing, throw it away because the solution is something so crazy.
Yes.
You're never going to really sort of be on board.
Exactly. So we're touching on something here. So like, it is fun. It is fun to watch the mystery unravel. And Rian Johnson is a good writer in the sense that it's fun to watch. But like, does a mystery movie do what a mystery movie should do if the mystery is completely unsolvable by the audience? I think no.
Do you think part of the charm that you need to have a chance to
Part of the charm
solve it?
of an Agatha Christie novel is that you could potentially deduce who's done something.
Yeah, the clues actually lead towards a
Yeah.
trail that maybe, I see what you mean.
And Rian Johnson's putting in extremely granular clues, but it's not on a macro level enough where I can enjoy the unraveling of that. When I'm like, I knew it was him. Like, it's just so ridiculous.
yeah.
It's batshit.
And it's subversive. I think it wants to subvert the genre.
Exactly.
ultimately.
And yeah, so that's that. Sorry, I just read a note that I wrote. That's actually ridiculous. I was sat there looking at the main cast thinking, well, it was fucking one of yous. Remember that meme? Because I'm just like, well, disgusting. It has to be one of you. I'm just like, well, Ryan, yeah, you've got me because it doesn't make sense. But it was one of you. So just tell me. And yeah, let's get onto this main issue here, which is I wish Rian Johnson would apply himself as elsewhere.
Yeah.
I loved Last Jedi. I'm not saying that he isn't good handling IP, but that's the issue. This is now IP. He's made his own IP, but it's now a franchise. And I've seen enough of it. Like, we know he can do this. I really think he can do so much more. And now he's wrapped in this and it feels a shame. So yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, fans of Knives Out will enjoy it. Fans of mystery movies will enjoy it. And it'll definitely play well over the festive period because like you said in the cinema, you get that reaction watching it with your family.
Yeah, Christmas, Boxing Day,
Yeah.
let's all figure out what happened. Yeah.
So it's successful, but I would just say my personal takeaway was I'm a little bit tired of it. And so even though it's more effective than the second one, the effect of it was a bit, I was a bit like, nah, all right.
Interesting to know. I'm quite curious to hear if people do go and watch, so it's out the day we're recording this. And I think by the time you're listening to this, it'll be out in cinemas. I thought it would be out on Netflix sooner, weirdly. And that's why I haven't seen it, and you have because you saw it at LFF. But yeah, I'm genuinely interested to hear if you are a fan of Knives Out and you see this, do you like it? And if you're not a fan, like, did you just catch this and is it good to watch? Because I assume, as is with the other ones, you could just pick up either of these and watch them. You don't need to have seen the others, right? Which I think, again, is really good, like Netflix style. Like, I see a thumbnail, I see the cast, and I go, great.
More of the same.
Yeah, like, I'm excited to just watch it and settle in. I think realistically, it might be something that I end up watching at home.
Yes.
But I do I think if I can, I will go and see it in the cinema.
It's going to really work at home. And do you know what? Like, I'm I'm gonna put it on in the background at Christmas for sure.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm certainly not dogging on it, and it's certainly brilliantly made, great performances and really good moments.
Yeah.
It's more just I guess I'm more just commenting on like the narrative of Rian Johnson doing this and what the format is.
Yeah.
Not speaking to me personally.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. If you have thoughts on Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out, :3, whatever you want to do it. As always, send in your thoughts to hello@popkitchenpodcast.com. We'll read them out in a future episode of the show.
Yeah.
Should we move on to Wicked?
Let's move on.
Wicked for good. I'm aware I'm a little bit late to this. I'm sure everyone who's already interested in seeing Wicked
Everyone who cares,
has already seen Wicked by the time you're listening to this. And I think if you listened to both mine and George's reviews last time, we were both, I think me especially, I was like, this isn't for me, but wow, what an amazing film it was. And George was away like he is now at the same time of year and ended up catching it really late, but still had the best time. This last year and a bit of Wicked hype has just been another phenomenon, I think. Like you can hold it up there to the Barbenheimer thing of, from a pure marketing standpoint, what happened with Wicked 1 and to a lesser extent with Wicked for Good, but still this whole year, is that it was like a pop culture black hole. It superseded it being just a film. It was like, for the marketing people, it was a miracle because everyone was talking about Wicked, even if they didn't try and get them to talk about Wicked, which is exactly what you want. Like the Wicked people didn't even need to talk about Wicked because everyone was talking about it anyway. Weird junkets, huge press, huge premiere, just like manic excitement. And then Wicked 1 was great. It really, really was great. And I'll never forget my experience watching it at the premiere. It was mental. Fred went super viral for recording his reaction
Just
after the
crying.
first Wicked because you were like, oh, I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah.
And then Defying Gravity was like, it was the best not Superman scene I've seen outside of a Superman film. It was like a superhero movie. But I always kind of was so happy that this is what people loved. I personally never liked the aesthetic of just like the world. That's not because I think it's done badly. I just think like, okay, that's for these people. And I totally know that I'm in the minority here. Most people love it. Most people would be really tired of seeing like Tolkien and being like, this is so lame and uncool.
Right,
and like,
right.
you know, there's no way for me to say that what I like is different. Really enjoyed Wicked. And I was kind of done after the first one. And I think I was like, Wicked for Good, I guess I'll see it 'cause it's my job to watch it. But like, I hear it's not the best half of the stage play, sorry. And then George was away. I didn't get early access. I wanted to see it. I wanted to cover it, but I knew I was going to be late. And I'll be honest, going to see it, I saw it last night. And I'm not trying to complain because I know I do this job. I really was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to go and see Wicked for Good, which I know is not the job.
Yeah.
And I know that's not my job because my job right now is to sit and talk about it, which I love doing. But it was losing my evening to go and watch a 2-hour and 20-minute movie, which I heard was a little bit
About
mixed.
a fucking Green Witch. I love that.
And like
That's
the
like
person
people say, like, oh, I watched 90 minutes ago kicking a fucking pigskin around.
Yeah.
It's like, I watched 2 hours 20 of a Green Witch. Yeah.
It's like, the first one was long. It was 2 hours 40.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if the second half of the stage play is bad, like I think that's when you'd go, let's sharpen this up and make it an hour 20. But it's not. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 20. But anyway, I know you've already talked about it on your channel.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what you think.
I'll just start by saying that broad strokes, I don't think the film is nearly as good as Wicked 1. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying.
And I think if that's not like a universal agreement, we've lost our minds as a society.
Yeah. I think like outside of the story, what's good about Wicked for Good, I think, is what was good about the first one. I do genuinely think that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, when they're on screen, when they're singing, when they do those musical numbers, those were the times where I was almost like jolted back, dare I say awake, into the film. Where I was just, sometimes I watch these animals and I watch the world and the munchkins and people dancing and it glazes over me like content. But then when they really speak at me, I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm back. And they are so good. And I'm genuinely really interested to see what Ariana Grande does next in movies. I really hope this opens up a whole world for her. And similarly with Cynthia Erivo. I don't think that like either of them are going to be massive Tom Cruise level movie stars, but I do think they are genuinely brilliant in Wicked. And I would really love in a year to see like a new trailer for something that Ariana Grande is doing. Is it a musical? Maybe, I don't know, but like whatever either of them go on to next, I think would be great.
4, by the way.
Oh, it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Which actually is a great comedic actor.
Great fun. Yeah. So Wicked's just really not to my taste. And when the story is
but
severely
you gave
lacking,
the first one its flowers.
I gave the first one its flowers totally. But like when the story for me really feels dragged out, I did struggle a little bit with Wicked. I was bored. I was not interested. And my main takeaway, unfortunately, about Wicked is that it's a little bit surface. And I think that's something about the nature of stage play musical, which I think when expanded and overly indulged, it can reveal the ever so slightly surface nature of this story, which is no doubt fantastical and heartwarming. But I really I'm watching now this 5-hour odyssey going, yeah, but what's this film really about? And why should I, as a grown man, and aware I'm in the minority here, like, why do I care? Like, why is this meant to be interesting to me apart from the fact that it's pretty? It is too long. And the fact that they could do a film like Les Mis in one film makes me think that they could have done Wicked in one film and made it good.
They absolutely could have. I think there's a baked in issue here, which is that like Wicked fans are almost excusing the flaws of the second film because they match the flaws of the second part of the musical. That to me doesn't excuse the film whatsoever. That to me just says, yes, the musical's flawed. But yes, this should have been one film.
They made it a second film.
Right.
That was their choice.
That's their choice. And exactly. And even if it was one film, the last third of that film probably would have been flawed too.
Yeah.
But probably slightly less flawed because it wouldn't have been stretched so thin.
Yeah.
And do you know what, James? Like, this might be sacrilege, but like, in my opinion... Just a fucking straight white guy with a mic.
And again, like, I know we're in the minority, and I know everyone who's already seen it and loved it is not that interested in our opinion. But like, I don't want to just not say like how I found about it because it is the biggest film of the year.
Here's the fucking thing. Here's the thing, right? Like, I cried my beans out at the first movie, and I willingly went viral at that because I wanted everyone to know how much I loved it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm setting my demographics aside. I am a straight white guy, but I am not out here to get Wicked. I'm not out here to get Wicked. But I just want to say that like, for me, the seed of Wicked in that first movie is how can we show that the idea that if you knew everyone's story, they wouldn't seem evil? How can we pick the most evil character in pop culture history and show her story and show that sometimes if you ostracize people, it pushes them to the edge? Or we can show a story of prejudice or a story of racism, which the first one lent into more. And it was so effective, right? That story to me actually comes to an end at the end of the first one. When Elphaba defies gravity, that is her character saying, do you know what? You've pushed me out all this time, but I am powerful, I am me, and I am green, and this is me. I'm defying gravity. Yeah. That to me is actually an end of a story. Yeah. And I keep hearing like, well, they had to split it into a second film because Defying Gravity is meant to be a curtain closer. And I'm like, yeah, curtain closer is the end of a fucking story. It's the end. Yeah. It's the end.
I felt complete. I didn't need to see number 2.
Yeah, like it's not even, and everyone's like, it's not a second movie. It's the second half of the story. I'm like, the story to me is kind of done. Like they should really just write the musical to be the first half split into 2.
They fixed it.
Yeah, fixed it. And I have one more thing. I have 2 things to say about this. I really want to get this off my chest to you specifically. Yeah. One is there were certain issues with the first movie that I did not give a flying monkeys about because I was having such a good time. Yeah. You could argue about whether the tone of this movie is dark or whatsoever, but those things come to the fore in this movie because it's just not quite as engaging. Whether you want to call that fun, entertaining, whatever.
It's not engaging.
It's not as engaging. So the issues about like the cinematography, people going on about the color palette and whatnot in the first movie, I was like, enjoy yourself. Shut up and enjoy yourself.
Me too. I was like, it's wicked. Yeah. It's fantastical, I guess.
In this one, I spent the runtime thinking about it. I was like, yeah, do you know what? It is a bit dull. And I was like, the framing on these musical numbers are a bit weird. Like, why do I feel claustrophobic in this world? Yeah. And that's just simply because I wasn't engaged, which then leads me on to the point you raised about sort of stretching this play over a longer runtime and how you start to see the holes in it. I really got a sense of that with like, you know, are we spoiling this movie? Everyone's seen it. Who cares?
I think, yeah, try not to spoil it too much, I guess. I think we always try to keep it
So I won't spoil it then. But you know, it's explained how there is Oz and there's Munchkinland and then there's just desert.
Yeah.
Right. That to me is like the biggest signifier of this is a musical with a half realized world. This is almost like in Assassin's Creed, where you get to the end of the map
and it just sort of says,
and you just
around.
can't go on.
Yeah,
because we haven't had any development
the
time.
paper backdrop falls down and reveals that it's an
this
indoor
is Truman
movie.
Show. This is the edge of the dome.
Yeah.
We're not going any further here
didn't
because
write that.
we just haven't thought of any other ideas. Yeah. And that's because on a stage you don't have to think of ideas beyond Oz and Monkey Man because you're in the environments. And so I'm just watching it and I'm like, this is sort of underbaked. It was always going to be underbaked. And it's underbaked on stage, you hear from a lot of Wicked fans. And then it's split into two, and then it's stretched over 2 hours 20. And so I think that we shouldn't be surprised this has happened.
Yeah.
There aren't enough ideas in there to justify a second movie, and the story doesn't justify the second movie either.
Yeah. Is it that
I'm
thing you
done.
said
I'm
about,
done.
No, the thing about it just not being engaging, it's that like other films in the first film have like an opening act, and act 2 is when it gets busy, and act 3 it concludes. It immediately feels like act 2. And I think like, I'm not saying that films can't part 1 and part 2 you and do that well. I'm just like, I was already just sort of jumping around, not really engaged.
Yeah.
And I do just kind of think that no, there is no better high than coming out of a film like Wicked 1 and being like, that was the best, and I can't wait to rewatch it. And I think it's going to be a classic in real time. I do believe that like this film just being like not as good, not as interesting, not as fun, the songs aren't as good, does ever just so slightly taint your memory of the first one. At least it does for me. I would love to sit here and be like, this is a true classic in real time. The Wicked fans have not had a Wicked film adaptation forever, and it's like, this is it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, if I was ever to rewatch it, I would just watch part 1 and move on with my life. I would
100%.
Never settle in for the 5 hours and need to do this whole thing.
I think it would tend to, if I was to plan on thinking about it ever again in my life, I think I am just going to consider Wicked Part 1 as Wicked.
Yeah, me too.
And I will show my future child Wicked Part 1.
Yes.
And the other one was just like a straight to DVD, straight to streaming.
Don't worry about it.
We don't talk about that one. I've also look, mate. I've been in deep with the Wicked discourse this week because my opinions were considered flagrant online, but I think that's because Wicked fans are frustrated because what was once theirs to love alone as a fandom is now being exposed to casual viewers like me and you, and that's annoying. And I really get that. But one of the things I keep reading is. Well, you know, it's all part of the same musical. It's the second half of the story, so you can't criticize it because it's just adapting what the musical is, and it's just a continuation, and it's one film, one story. This is what I keep hearing. That to me is just bullshit. Like, just because The Deathly Carlos is one book doesn't mean you judge the first one and the second one equally. Yeah. The first one's clearly better than the second one. You know, right, like you and June the same. I think June comes from one book, right? Yeah. So I just think they chose to deliver it to us like this. Yeah. And so you have to be subject to criticism as a movie, as its own entity.
I mean, that's not bullshit. We know it's a commercial decision. It's 2 cinema tickets in a year. That's why they do it. It's so they can get 2 bites of the apple.
So, and in turn, I'm not going to criticize. If I'm going to criticize the movie, I'm criticizing the movie, and I'm trying not to extend that criticism to the musical, which is a different entity.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing that excuse, and I keep thinking, well, equally, in criticizing the musical, you're not criticizing the 1990 book that the musical's adapted from. Yeah. You know, the musical's its own entity.
It's an experience of going to the cinema twice for 2.5 hour sessions. It's that I think we're criticizing, of speaking really honestly to somebody who's maybe more in my camp listening, and I'm like, how are you going to enjoy this Wicked movie? That's genuinely what I'm saying. And I'm like, the first one, I'm sure everyone, including me, had a great time, even if it wasn't for you. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you are wondering what to do with your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening next week, and you haven't done Wicked, I'm just going to let you know that these are some of the emotions you might find when you're watching. Like, you might just have this sort of ever so slightly glaze you by. And I don't mean this in a really condescending way, but something about it felt very child only in terms of its watching. And it's like, if you asked me to sit down and watch a 2.5 hour kids film, not like a Pixar, which for everyone, almost like this is specifically for kids, with like the animals and the aesthetic, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is nice, but like, it's not for me.
Right.
That's a lot of I felt iced out by it a little bit. And I don't mean that in a condescending way, more just like, I don't think it's dumbed down for kids, but I was like, it didn't feel like I was meant to be watching it.
Right. And what do you think about the the criticism, the kind of rebuttal of this is a darker story. So the phrase I keep hearing is it shouldn't be as fun because it's darker.
Yeah,
I disagree with that. What do you think?
Again, I'm not that close to the musical. I can see it being the second part of a musical where like the first half wants to say this and the second half is like the stakes and the consequences and we've been pulled apart. Now we have to get back. I get that. I'm just like it is part 2 of the stage musical and it doesn't work as one film. I'm just like it doesn't work as it doesn't work. It's not that I think maybe you can probably enjoy it if you sit down for the 5 hours at home. Me leaving my house, going to the cinema, spending the money, sitting down. And then watching this is not what I enjoy out of the experience.
Yeah. And you know what I keep trying to say is like, no one's opinion really. There's a lot of people enjoying this film.
Yes,
and like
we are the minority for sure.
Yeah, and they're gonna be enjoying this film. My sister went the other night; she absolutely loved it.
I spoke to friends; they were like, "We had the best time." I said, "Oh, I heard it's not so good." They said, "We had the best time." I'm like, "It's 2 hours 20." They were like, "Was it?" Flew by.
Right.
So like, I'm totally the minority.
And although that praise is tempered, I would say that's fair to say. I still think like it's going to be a much loved movie just because of what it is.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know?
I just want to comment on cinematography now because this was a criticism leveled when the first film came out.
Yeah.
And this conversation is happening again. To be honest, conversation been happening for a while, but especially this year, I've actually noticed there are these really interesting think pieces about digital cinema, the Arri Alexa camera, things being sort of evenly exposed and like film versus digital, what the problem is. And people have used Wicked a lot as like a visual reference for this. And now Wicked for 2's come out. Wicked for Good.
2, yeah.
People are talking about it again. And obviously, like as I was like slightly disengaged, I just ended up thinking a lot about the cinematography.
Yeah.
And for those of you who've seen Wicked and you know, it's shot on the Arri Alexa camera. I don't know exactly which one. It might be the 65, but the Arri Alexa is like the leading gold standard for digital cinematography in cinema right now. And with the latest and best technology, you get what's called exceptional dynamic range, where the brightest part of your image and the darkest part of your image can be evenly exposed. And that's what you really need that when you're filming things, because if I want to film you next to a window, I want to be able to see your face without the window being blown out and vice versa. And it gives you leverage in post to drop the shadows, bring the highlights down, and just generally you want dynamic range. And that has always offered you more dynamic range than film does. And so I'm watching Wicked and I'm like, oh, it's really high key. Like everything's very brightly lit and the cameras can see so well in the dark that like they almost don't need to add the contrast. And versus when you used to shoot, when you shoot digitally now versus when you shoot film, you have to light things really differently. And my issue, I don't buy the fact that Wicked looks bad because it was shot digitally. I just don't buy it. The issue is contrast and lighting. The same camera that was used to shoot Wicked is the same camera that was used to shoot Dune, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, and the Batman, and films which I don't think have any of the same criticisms leveled against it. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. Like, people aren't.
I think that's
making
completely fair. And you just touched on something there. Sorry, you might have to edit me thinking about this. What did you just say about the same thing?
Contrast lighting.
Contrast lighting. Yes, right.
It's an issue of lighting for me.
Right. So I wanted to ask you this actually. So is this down to them overlighting things to facilitate CGI and backdrops and things like this?
My impression on why this looks the way it does is that film is not as sensitive to light in that you can't have all the shadows exposed at once. So therefore, when you go to light your subject, if most of it is dark, you have to really intentionally shine light on what you want your audience to see. Versus when like the whole room is kind of lit and everything's bright and there's huge shallow depth of field, it kind of just doesn't have the same intention and interest. And when you want to make something specifically in the genre of Wicked, which is fantastical and it is bright and it is colourful. I'm not saying that every film needs to look like the Batman and be dark and shadowy. It's just more that it's not always clear what the filmmakers want you to look at. And there were other scenes in the Wicked movie where like it was in, you know, the Wizard of Oz's lab and it was just darker, and I think they were lighting more intentionally. And that's, I just think, was the difference for me. I think you have to learn to use that technology differently, and you have to actually light more intentionally, despite the fact that you don't need as much light.
Right.
That's kind of where I think about it. That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. I think for me, like the takeaway visually was like this feeling of claustrophobia that I mentioned. I think what the first film gave me was like an expansive feeling in certain musical numbers. So the Wizard and I, when she runs to the end of the cliff, fuck knows where that cliff is or why it's there, but she runs to the end of a cliff. We've got obviously Defying Gravity, which is nice and wide. We've got the certain dance sequences at Shiz which are nice and wide, and you see these sort of routines and stuff. I felt in the second one I could like sense the set.
It's indoors.
Yeah.
It always feels indoors.
Right.
Even when it's outdoors, it doesn't feel outdoors.
And I
it's
also
studio.
just never felt like they gave me like a good look at stuff.
Yeah.
I really can't put it any other way.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was like always like in, and then this fucking
because it's all in a studio. It's all in a studio. isn't
yeah,
it?
right. Yeah, and then this desert and the desert around the Oz
Yeah.
thing. I was just like, well, it literally is
That's the
claustrophobic.
end
We can't
of
get out.
our idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so look, that's where we stand on Wicked, and I kind of knew that it's where I'd stand about it. I'll be interested when George goes on to see it, like how he feels about it, because honestly, he saw it like very much more in a vacuum. Like
George
weeks
isn't coming
later.
back. It's just-
George
it's
isn't
just
coming
me
back.
now, yeah.
He's done.
No, I'd be interested to
and
hear
just to
it,
hear
yeah.
like how he gets on with it, because I think I was probably more predisposed to not enjoy it, and I was kind of annoyed that I had to go and see it, which I mean,
Yeah.
I was just like, I know I'm not going to enjoy this. I know I don't want to just like go and see this with my arms folded and then slag it off on my podcast. I don't particularly enjoy
Yeah.
doing that, but nonetheless, I did sit through it, and this is how I feel.
I feel like I can imagine George's review. I feel like I was even more ebullient about the first one than him.
Yeah.
His review is going to start with a look. And then you know.
and then he's going to
gonna
adjust
start
his
with a look.
glasses,
Yeah.
and then he's going to go and do his thing.
I saw, yeah, that's how it's going to start.
Like a Tory
That's it.
politician. Look, it was a Pizza Express. No, genuinely always would love to know what you guys think. And let's just let us know, are you a massive fan of Wicked, the musical? Did you love Wicked 1? What are you like us and you like take it or leave it when it works? Please, as always, send in your thoughts to hello@popkitchenpodcast.com, and we would love to read it out on a future episode of the show. And I just generally would like to know if the film's working for other people or if it is boring, because I've had like just multiple different options from other
Absolutely,
people. So that is Wicked for good.
Yeah.
Should we move on and do some emails? Fred, should we go through? I nearly said George because I'm so used to saying George.
Say whatever you want. Call me whatever you
Let's
want,
go
baby.
through some of the emails that we get sent into the show every single week. As always, guys, if you want to send in your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your reviews, you can of course send them into
hello@pulpkitchen.com.
podcast.com.
Oh,
Hello at pulpkitchenpodcast.com.
That's it. I'm gone.
Get
Bye.
out.
See you later.
Get the
Bye.
fuck out of here. This first one is from Liv. Liv writes in and says, "Good Fortune was really good. Hello, James and George and James." No, it's just Fred and me. I'm a long-time listener, first-time writer into Pulp Kitchen. I first want to say I love your show. I listen each week while doing mindless Excel tasks as I work from home. I've listened since I first moved to London and was so sad to find out Pulp Kitchen 200 was happening live 2 weeks after I moved back to the States. So I couldn't make it. As I've just moved to Boston, I don't know many people, I found myself with no plans on a Friday night and decided to go to my local independent theatre. The only thing that was playing was Good Fortune, Aziz Ansari's directorial debut comedy starring him, Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves, and Keke Palmer. I was so happily surprised with this movie. I feel like not enough people are talking about it, and it was the perfect amount of funny and sincere, and its central message of the importance of having empathy for others was clear without bashing you over the head with it, which is easily could have been done considering the plot is taking the saying, put yourself in others' shoes very literally. The start was a little slow to get to the stakes of the film, the switching of the lives of millionaire Jeff and gig economy worker Arj by the well-intentioned but not particularly smart Angel Gabriel. But once the film got going, I was laughing out loud. Keanu's Gabriel was a standout, such a hilarious and memorable character. Seth Rogen, Aziz Ansari, and Keke Palmer all delivered great performances while also staying true to their respective humours. I kept underscoring that they were trying to create a comedy that must be seen in theatre. I agree. Everyone should go out and see it, and can't wait to see what he directs in the future. Many thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. Liv. I just realised you were meant to read Liv, but I read it. But I'll read the next one, and then you can do the next one. But Good Fortune sounds great, and I've not seen it.
Right, I haven't seen it as well. I thought you had. I thought that's why we were doing the email.
I just think I'd seen that film, and I don't know why it kind of passed me by in the UK, which is interesting.
It passed me by. I deliberately just not avoided it, but I just skipped it just because it felt to me like, shouldn't this be on Prime? It felt like such a Prime movie.
If it was good, would I have known about it more? Which is a little bit of a thing for me.
But that's always the question now, isn't it? Do they have not have a wide release because it's bad, or do they not have a wide release because we just don't trust mid-level movies anymore?
And is it interesting that a film that has Seth Rogen in it and Keanu Reeves didn't get a mainstream? I don't know. I just didn't feel like we're in the UK film space, and I didn't feel like it was being talked about that much.
For sure. And it's interesting that Seth Rogen now is a massive TV star after the studio.
So he joins Apple
and the
TV
next
stuff.
series of the studio is going to be such a huge deal, and yet he puts a film out, it can just pass everyone by.
But do you remember in the 2010s, Seth Rogen owned comedies in Hollywood?
Yeah,
he was the comedy powerhouse.
Up until probably the closing show for that was The Long Shot with Charlize Theron. That was probably the last
of it.
Like,
So like from, if you want to start Superbad through to Pineapple Express through to Knocked Up.
Superbad was after Knocked Up. Knocked Up was 2007. Superbad 2008, 9ish.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
And then we had Funny People.
Yeah.
And we had and then
Pineapple Express. Pineapple Express.
The Interview.
The Interview.
It's a good.
This Is the End. I'd say was peak Seth Rogen.
That's
of
it,
like
yes.
all the money, all the stars.
Yeah. And it's quite people are quite affectionate about that movie.
Yeah, I think it's
Me
funny.
too as well,
I hope it ages well. So I'll read this one and then it'll come on to you. This next one is from Olivia, who says, rewatch Don't Worry Darling. Hi guys, George and James and George, all the same except the first came to mind. I just did a rewatch. By the way, people argue over whose name should be first. We said it like once and people forever try to be diplomatic about it.
It's a good motif.
I just did a rewatch of Don't Worry Darling, a film I really didn't love on the first watch. While the first time I loved the cinematics, visuals, and altogether 1950s American vibe, I did not love the story. Upon second watch, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I believe this is because I know the ending. Having known the twist, which I will say I expected something of a sort about halfway through the first time, I gained a better understanding of the film. The first watch left me going. Oh, by the way, I'll spoil that I'm not going to spoil it, but the saying that there's a twist, I don't think ruins the movie. It's very clear from early on that something's not as it seems. The first film watch left me going, okay, why is she being crushed by glass or choked by a plastic bag? Second watch had me really listening to the rhetoric between all the characters, especially the men. This actually proved to be a great underlying indication of the men's true motives. I guess I wonder if you think that a second watch can really alter your perspective, or if a second watch means that the director storyteller failed altogether. I think the subtle and less subtle indications of the characters' motives were nice, but only made me sense once you had seen the whole film. It was obvious something was up. That's not the point. Anyways, cheers, guys, from NH USA, North NH, New Haven.
New Haven?
New Haven?
Well done.
Connecticut? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
NH.
You're already way ahead of me. I have no idea.
NH, US. I don't know what NH is. Love the pod. Would love to have come to the 200th if it was in the northeast of the US. Olivia. You should watch. No, I've just spoiled it for you. You should watch.
Me? Do you think I should?
I'd be interested to hear what you thought.
Okay.
Even though now you kind of know it.
There was such funny discourse around that movie.
Yeah.
I actually don't know why I missed that movie. So.
Oh, it was a whole pop culture moment, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde. And it was like well marketed.
Okay, you're being. It's not like you didn't enjoy it that much.
No, it's not. It was a bit rubbish. Okay. It's a very like underrated.
Why are you telling me to watch
I don't know. I think it would be funny to hear what you think.
You should waste your life. You should waste your life.
Fuck your time.
So we're talking about rewatches though.
Yeah. So is there a film you've rewatched and you've gone, oh?
So I think there was an interesting point in there about like, does having to rewatch mean that the directors failed at their job? I would say the answer is no.
No.
I think that rewatching for me is a huge part of my love for a movie. Is if I feel that urge to rewatch.
Yeah.
That makes it climb the ladder for me in terms of ratings.
Yeah.
So most recent examples were One Battle After Another and Weapons. Both of those I came out of and kind of had that urge, that cliche of like I would have gone straight back in.
Yeah.
I really would have. I don't think that's a failure. I think in both cases I wanted to live in the worlds a bit longer. I wanted to absorb details that I maybe didn't absorb the first time.
Yeah.
And I think that's, if anything, a success. I can't think of a film that I've wanted to rewatch because I didn't feel like I get it enough.
Time. Yeah. I'd say every Nolan film is better when you've watched it again.
So I heard you on your sci-fi episode, you mentioned Inception. I felt like that worked on first watch, but I don't know if I'm gaslighting my teenage self there.
I wouldn't say it didn't work. I feel like it was so much to grapple with that armed with my knowledge of the first watch helped me better understand the second watch.
You certainly want to go back.
Because you're introduced to so many rules and laws and words that it was just like rereading it. I go, yes, thank you. Now I know what to expect. I understand what the thing you said meant.
For sure.
My brain's on a treadmill with that movie.
For sure. Because you can even go back to the opening scene of Inception and like they do a kick where the chair falls back into the bathroom.
And you're like,
you know
what's
what the kick
going
is.
on?
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah, 100%.
So what about you? Have you rewatched anything recently that was not just for the purposes of like, I loved this?
Oh, it was mostly because I love it. I can't remember specifically if there was something that I was like, I need to rewatch
Almost
this.
like
really
going back to kind of
reassess.
reassess or try to assess it further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything like that.
I can't think of anything.
So I think in answer to that email, it's not a failure, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Enjoy yourself.
it's usually it's a curiosity to want to go back and revisit. Yeah. Right, now you can go.
Great. Okay. So we have got an email from Steve. Is this the correct one that I'm reading? Stevie. Okay, dear George and dear Fred and James and Fred, very belated congrats on your 200th episode live show. It was such a fun night. I went to see Running Man last night and had saved your review until I had seen it. Although you were only lukewarm about the movie, I was really surprised about how positive you were, as I thought it was a stone cold stinker. I was a starry-eyed 13-year-old kid in 1987 when I bagged a pirate copy of the original. And while I think it's universally agreed that Schwarzenegger wasn't Daniel Day-Lewis, I absolutely loved it, as it wasn't anything like I'd seen before. So I went into the 2025 reboot with rose-tinted memories of that movie. The main problem with the new version is that they took all the good stuff from the original and stripped it out of this one. The original was set in a maze within a TV studio, and I think the decision to change it to sending them out on the streets was a big mistake. It changes the dynamic of the movie from being claustrophobic and intense to being a subpar John Wick. All the characters that were introduced along the way added very little to the story. And whilst the mailing the tape bit could have been clever, the fact that the recordings could be altered meant it made no sense. In the original, people that went in did so against their will, and that was one of the joys of it. Like in Gladiator, they were thrown into a situation where they had to learn how to survive. And finally, the acting in the way that great players go to Man United and somehow become terrible. The same thing seems to have happened here. From top to bottom, everyone was so bad. The usually excellent Josh Brolin, the wonderful Coleman Domingo, and the generally just about acceptable Glenn Powell. Even he went down from just about acceptable. All terrible. The only one who came away with any credit was Michael Cera. He got the only laugh in the whole movie. I said Schwarzenegger was no DDL, but compared to this, it doesn't actually seem like such a bad comparison. It was messy, baggy, illogical, and surely proof that Edgar Wright has completely lost his touch. I know not everyone likes star ratings, but it's a 1.5 from me, and those 1.5 go to Sarah alone. Wow. The only positive is that I didn't follow through on my original plan to pay £25 per ticket to see it at IMAX. If I had, I swear, count in this email, I swear...
The swear count.
Oh, the swear count in this email would have been very high. What was the swear count? I think we were at 0.
Yeah, I think you were all right.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Would have been higher.
Did you see The Running Man?
Didn't. Go for it. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I disagree. I don't think I disliked it as much as you. Now I'm a week or two from having seen it, and you bring up the Michael Cera bit, and I agree he was good fun, but there are a lot. I said it was a bit too baggy, too many things in it, too many things in it.
I loved your critique, and I think George said the phrase. I was kind of like full up by the end of the second act, and like I just was like, I don't need any more.
I'm done.
Yeah,
and I think the coming out of it now, having only seen it once and not made it, you could remove multiple, not just scenes, but like sections of the movie, and I think the plot would still work. And I think that kind of is a testament to the slightly meandering nature of the plot, which I think it needed a rewrite a little bit. I disagree that I think the cast aren't good. I think all the casts are doing great work and having a lot of fun, but I don't need to see it again. I don't need to watch it again.
And you wouldn't attribute stinker to it, though?
No, it's not a stinker. It's not a stinker. I think it's not going to stand up to like my favorite Edgar Wright films for sure.
Yeah.
But
which are
I've
the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, Cornetto. Yeah, like I've no bad. Actually, I think Scott Pilgrim's great as well.
Yeah, true.
Like I've no like bad blood towards it. I'm kind of like it happened. I'd move on. Personally,
fair enough.
I just think is a shame because I think he is really talented.
I want to let Pulp Kitchen listeners know that I have seen films. I just haven't seen Don't Worry, Darling, and I haven't seen Running Man, and I haven't seen the other thing that we saw.
Titanic every week.
I just watched Titanic and Wicked for good. Yeah. Oh, and Wake Up Dead Man. I had Wake Up Dead Man. That's me.
So producer Dave writes in, I salute you, sir, and this was on Patreon. It was just reported that Avatar: Fire and Ash was going to be the longest Avatar film, and it begged the question of like, who the fuck cares about Avatar? Which is really curious to me because my take was nobody is out here talking about, I wonder what's going to happen in Avatar 3. So I've always been curious of like, who really holds out for this movie? I understand that like Star Wars gets a lot of criticism, but Avatar will be the biggest film of the year.
Yes.
It's going to make the most money. It's going to make over $2 billion. But I'm curious as to like who's eagerly anticipating it. And I don't think it matters. And it's this weird enigma where like it's just going to sit there and we're going to get 7 of these films and they're just going to happen. But I'm like, no one's talking about it.
He might pass off the next ones. Have you heard that?
I've heard. It keeps changing every week. He's like, he might do it, he might not. So my question is like, if this film's going to make over $2 billion. Why is no one talking about it? What is the interest? Anyway, that was my question. And Dave has written in and said, Pulp Kitchen staff, very diplomatic to who it may concern. In your most recent Double Take, episode 76, Double Take, by the way, go and check out our Patreon exclusive news show, from which Fred has featured many times. You asked us to please write in and give our thoughts and feelings about Fire and Ash. At 3 hours 15, 3 minutes longer than The Way of Water, my initial thoughts are, no thank you. It's more of the same from the first two, neither of which impressed me enough for 4 more movies. It's hard to believe anyone is a massive fan of the franchise, and if people are, great, but they're in the minority. Also, I don't imagine Fire and Ash is really going to spark anything in the fans or the rest of us, fanning into flame and excitement for the franchise, nor will it be taking things in a new direction. It's a pass from me, gents. Take care. Producer Dave from Saskatchewan. Dave, thank you so much. Yeah, it's more that like the film wasn't interesting enough for me. It was very safe, and that was my problem. And it was too long and too blue. And that was just where I got a bit, I think, too annoyed with The Way of Water. I don't think it's a bad film. I was just like, what's all the hype? What's all the blue? What's all the drama? When I just feel like it's like watching a film.
You know, the interesting part of that email is something that is like debatable. Sorry, is he says it's going to make over 2 billion, but he said something about being in the minority. What was the line with minority?
It's hard to believe anyone is a massive fan of the franchise, and if people are great, but they're in the minority.
Right. So that is a funny thing to think, isn't it? Because like they make so much money. Would it be a minority to be a massive fan of it? Are we? Is everyone seeing it just purely dispassionately?
My theory now is that Avatar sits in this middle place where it's so mass appeal. You don't need to be a huge fan to go and see it. I think people go, "Oh, Avatar! I like Avatar," and they'll go and see it.
And that's why it gets so much money.
And it's a big screen film, and it entices people to the cinema. And I just think that's enough. And I think it's very. It's really easy to localize for non-English speakers. The themes are very universal if English isn't your first language. And of course, it's dubbed into a million languages, I suppose.
True. It's fascinating what James Cameron's managed to achieve with his brand like, as a director. Because what is the biggest draw, do you reckon? Is it that it's like... it's suitable for all ages. You can take the whole family, but then also James Cameron attracts cinephiles. Yeah, it's got a great cast,
special effects.
It's released on the holiday period. But I'm not saying none of those any of those things are invalid. What I'm saying is that like, what a bloody job he's done. Because like we just all know that it's going to make 2 billion.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't say that about the next Nolan movie.
No.
Like what?
I think The Odyssey will make 1 billion, but not 2. And it will be better than Avatar 3.
It's just wild what he's achieved, and like fair play to the guy.
It's wild what he's achieved.
I'm going to go see it. Yeah,
I think you said this on Double Take. It's like I'm very happy for James Cameron to not be occupied with Avatar. I'd rather just see while James Cameron is still working, what he could do next that really changed the game.
Do you know what I was intrigued about was that when he said he was going to pass off the rest, it was entirely in contradiction to what he'd said, that he loves spending time in Pandora. He's developing this technology, and then suddenly he's like, "Oh, I'm going to hand off the rest to other directors." I'm like, what's happened there? Are you kind of like thinking, do you know what? I have been in this world for 18 years. It's a long time. I wonder.
There was originally years ago a plan to make 3 movies in one production shoot.
Right. I thought actually that's what they'd done until I heard an interview recently.
Like a lot. I think that's a lot to make 3 good movies in one go. I think it's almost just like and then they didn't. They're doing them one at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd love to be proven wrong. I was disappointed because Avatar was the first one and it established the world. I don't mind it being like essentially Pocahontas but blue. I was like, it's fine. But when it came to the second one, I was like, you've got the world's attention. Why don't you do something? Tell a story that's actually quite provocative or interesting or quite just like surprised me a little bit. And it didn't, and it was so long, and that's why I was just like, oh, it's just this very vanilla thing.
The question is,
and I don't like knowing that there's 5 more films ready to go. I'm like, it just doesn't. I want there to be a sense of like, this might, I don't know, it might be the last one. That's my problem.
I think the question is, will it get a Best Picture nomination as Way of Water did? You know, is it going to be back up in that conversation off the back of the technical achievements and the fact it's James Cameron?
We'll
things
have
like
to
this.
see.
Who knows? Maybe it will be brilliant. Who knows? But that's going to be interesting. Like if it's got the juice for that again.
Stay tuned.
Christian, hi there. First time emailer, I want to know your thoughts. I saw Frankenstein, the 2025 version, a few weeks ago, and I'm feeling a large disconnect from a lot of reviewers I follow over this film. For the first half, this is one of my favorite experiences of the year. Electric energy to each scene, thanks to a severely underrated Oscar Isaac playing perfectly in tone with the film's large and melodramatic style. However, for me, the moment the creature arrives, the film starts a downturn it never recovers from. I felt Jacob Elordi's creature is played rather typical and uninteresting, doing exactly what I would expect an actor playing the creature to do. He's given it his all, but his part of the story becomes rather by the numbers, which feels particularly bizarre due to Del Toro's love for the story. All complexity and intrigue is gone from the creature's character, lacking what makes him interesting. My question is there a film you can think of from recent memory where you had such a huge disconnect from the general opinion that made you sad and feel a bit of FOMO?
Wicked.
Christian, maybe Wicked for good.
Yeah, Wicked
but are
is
we
an
in our
Avatar.
echo chambers so much that I don't necessarily think it counts for good? I think there are people who think how we feel. But I don't know.
This is an episode all about that. I'd say for those two.
But anyway,
did you watch Frankenstein?
Yes.
Yeah. How did you find it? I've not
Imagine if I
asked you
said
about
no to that. You would send me out if I said no
not at
to
all.
that.
Not at all.
No, I did see
I offered
Frankenstein.
him like, nah, I didn't watch that shit.
I saw it at the LFF premiere. Wait,
right.
No, that wasn't the one
No,
we
no, I
went
watched
to.
that.
No, sorry. I feel, Christian, exactly the same.
Interesting.
Exactly the same. How do you feel?
I felt I liked it, but I know that there are people who like do this job review films who've just been either side of it. It has been actually quite divisive.
And have you read the book?
No.
Right. So again, there's this discussion rears its ugly head, its ugly creature head,
Oh, there we are.
which is how much are we attributing the accuracy of an adaptation to the flaws or the pluses of a movie.
Yeah.
So people are saying this is a really good adaptation. It's faithful and it's in the structure of the book in the sense that you have something from Frankenstein's perspective and then you go to the creature's perspective. I applaud the fact that it's faithful, but I still want to critique something as it's delivered to me, which is a movie.
Yeah.
And like that, just because it's faithful doesn't mean it's good or
Yeah,
right.
yeah, for sure.
Like maybe it's the wrong way to do it. Maybe they did it the right way, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so I agree. I didn't like the switch to the creature. I did feel like it slowed down and I did feel disconnected from that section. And then did you feel like, to me, it felt like we came to the conclusion the concluding set piece, like really fast out of the creature section. And I was like,
Yeah, I think
more
more love was given to the Victor Frankenstein bit before the creature.
Yeah.
And then it was like the creature, and then it was like now the creature perspective. I do see that.
And I was like, fuck, okay, it's over.
Yeah.
And so I agree, Christian.
It's interesting how it's kind of divided people, especially not like, oh, there's a critics vote and then there's a fans, there's an audience vote. I can't put my finger on it. I watched it at home as a home Netflix release. Was like, I get it. It's cozy. Yeah, I'm literally in this room.
I'm in this room.
On
this giant telly.
Yeah, for
next
people who
to
don't
us.
know, I've regressed and put a telly at the end of my bed, which is the best thing ever.
Right.
Soon moving into my new flat where I won't have a TV on the end of my bed. But I've loved this year.
Good to watch Frankenstein in that environment.
Yeah, in bed,
Yeah.
like watching it. I was like, this totally works. Like,
Yeah.
It's really great. But yeah, I'm always interested to hear people are like, don't want to do this.
I know what the TV reminds me of.
What?
So just to be clear, James got
Yeah.
TV at the end of his bed.
Yeah.
It reminds me, you are one of the deadly sins in Seven.
Laziness
We
and
come
gluttony.
in and you've got the Frankenstein credits rolling with the, do you want to watch this next movie? And you're dead, emaciated. And you go,
It's more like the in GTA 5, Michael's son Jimmy playing the games in his room. Be like, damn, get out of here.
God, it's great. Cool.
Justin writes in and says, hi, Games and George. Love the show, and your airplane movie discussions have inspired me to ask a couple of questions. I'm visiting New York City from London soon for the first time as a solo trip for my 30th birthday. My questions are, what are some of the most essential and iconic New York City films I need to make sure I watch before I visit? 2, what should be the film I have on as I arrive into the city? I know you love the brutalist Statue of Liberty scene, so something in that vein. In return, I'll report back and advise you on the popular plane movies during both journeys. Thanks so much, Justin. Justin, thank you. Please always let us know what people are watching on planes. It's never not interesting to me. Essential New York City films, I've always said, because you're going I'm sure you've either already been or this was 7 days ago. Sorry, you sent the email in. So you're either there. I think When Harry Met Sally is the quintessential autumnal aesthetic. New York in autumn, winter is a really great time to be there.
Yes.
So I'd always say that is a great one. And I'm just going to say How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Nice.
Great New York movie.
Nice.
Women of New York, frost yourselves. Love it.
I'm often caught out with the, this is a great New York movie. Oh, no, it's Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is You've Got Mail is one of them, is it?
You've Got Mail, Seattle? No.
Oh, no, that's Sleepless in Seattle, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
same thing.
Maybe it is New York.
Maybe. And also one that I do know is what I recently watched While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock in it. Have you heard of that
I've not
movie?
seen that one.
And that's set in Chicago. Anyway, this is Harry who sent this email?
This is Justin.
Don't know why
Not
I
even
said
close.
Harry. Not close at all.
It's because I said When Harry Met Sally. So when Justin met Sally.
Justin, I recently flew to New York from London.
Yes, of course, you've just been.
Exactly. And I didn't watch a New York movie. I watched Black Bag, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
If I was to pick a quintessential New York movie, aside from When Harry Met Sally, I would probably say recently Anora, right?
Oh, yeah, great show.
I nearly made us make a day trip down to Coney Island, I think it's called.
Brighton Beach.
And I think that would be such a magical experience because that film is almost indelible on that place now, and vice versa.
Frosty as well, like a snow covered.
Right, yeah. And with the vulgar, exactly. Yeah, it's cozy movie. So I think that would be a good one.
Yeah. Anora's wicked. I really need to. It's wicked. Anora's brilliant. I really am excited. I've only seen it the once, but I really want to rewatch it now. It's
really good rewatch, as I'm sure you expect. Another one. Well, actually, coming into Christmas period, Home Alone 2 is not as good as Home Alone, but it is a great New York movie.
Great.
It's a fantastic New York movie.
From a child's perspective as well, like I remember I'd gone to New York when I was young, and that childlike sense of wonder when you go to New York and the buildings being so high and the lights and lit up, and the sort of element of scariness and danger of the big city, but also just like, and the toy shot FAO Schwartz, it is just magic. It's
and the
great.
fact that,
and Donald Trump in there.
Donald Trump's in it, which is New Yorkie, regardless of your opinion of him. And there's quite a lot of locations you can visit. Obviously, you've got the Central Park Pigeon Lady place. You've got the hotel that he's in.
The hotel concierge guy. I can't remember his name. What's his name?
I don't know.
He's hilarious in Home Alone too. He's brilliant.
And then one final thing is when I was there, Justin, I took a picture outside the New York Public Library to replicate the running away from the wave in Day After Tomorrow. Which isn't a New York movie really, but it feels like it kind of is because the Statue of Liberty's in there. It feels like it's bigger than New York.
Yeah.
But New York is heavily featured. So I think as you're flying in, get Day After Tomorrow, the wave scene on with the Statue of Liberty going underwater as you're flying over the water.
Great disaster movie, The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh,
it's good fun.
Fucking brilliant.
It's great. Like, we were just really getting to grips with climate change. Day After Tomorrow comes in.
Mate, forward thinking.
It was.
In terms of climate change.
It was.
Some of those things, like...
A good little scare tactic. Look what's going to happen, but the problem is it all just undid itself in 90 minutes. You're like, oh, it'll be all right.
Oh, yeah, it did, didn't it?
It was all right in the end.
Did you see... Recently, there was a YouTube clip inside the hurricane that unfortunately hit...
yes, I did see it. And it looked like the mega cyclone.
Sorry, I just spat. I was so excited. That was amazing, and it made me love the movie more. That movie's fucking fantastic.
Accurate, yeah. And the whole idea of like, you mess with the temperature of the water and that system shuts off is legit.
Right.
It's
almost
legit.
like it did a Contagion did for COVID on the climate change.
Yeah.
And like, there's nothing more... If anything, the genre of film that I love most, more than anything, even more than Titanic, is like a stupid, goofy movie that you can just watch and watch and watch again, that actually has a small sense of legitimacy to it.
Yeah.
And I would put National Treasure in that same situation.
Yeah, because
I'm
it's
just
history.
like, do you know what? It's not that stupid though. That's what I want to think when I watch these films. Do you know what? It's actually
2012. Did you see 2000 John Cusack?
Yeah, I saw that. Not as good, but still really fun.
Still good fun.
Really fun.
The super volcano scene when it erupts, Yellowstone. Love a bit of that.
Fuck yeah.
Did you geography GCSE? You learn about super volcanoes, and you never can really get how big they are and what it would look like for it to erupt. And then you go whack on 2012.
Get it on. How many geography classes has that been shown in? Many.
Perfect. San Andreas as well with the rock.
That's dire.
Paul Giamatti. There's another one.
Is Paul Giamatti in that?
He is. He's a scientist who tries to warn people.
Fuck me. Oh
my
God. Ruben?
This next one is from... Ruben, for you.
Ruben.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, lads. I've just finished Anemone, the Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
Anemone.
Anemone. burner and thought I'd write in whilst my thoughts were fresh. My short review would be that Daniel Day-Lewis and Sean Bean carry the load of a movie that heavily insists upon itself.
Yes.
Although there were patches of this movie that were stunning, whether it be the way the sounds of nature are very clear in the sound design or the emphatic monologues of DDL, I found overall that this film was very self-indulgent from a director who has really been given a free pass to make whatever he wanted, given the fact his father is the greatest of our generation, DDL. This is maybe slightly harsh on Ronan Day-Lewis, but you can clearly see he's thrown everything in the kitchen sink at Anemone to make it a very artistic film and has run the risk of losing the viewer's attention. I think the movie was way too long, just found myself really persevering to the end out of sheer stubbornness rather than enjoyment. I hope this isn't as harsh as it sounds and I don't get ripped to bits for this. No one's going to rip you, Ruben, for this. Sorry for the long email, but also wish to say Double Take this week have been laughing audibly when talking about a Marvel ban until there's newsworthy content. Yes, that was funny. Thanks for all the brilliant content, lads. Ruben.
Yeah, it got too much. It was just like, oh, this character might be in it. And I'm just like,
let's just fucking
you know, it was
because
because of the delay. Me and George were like, we're going to be talking about this fucking movie for a whole nother year.
It started to feel a bit like that with Bond before Denis came on board as well. I was a bit like, do you know what? I should fucking wait until they've announced a Bond.
Go and check out Double Take. I think they're going to drop a trailer at the 1 year mark because they've obviously been filming it this summer, right? So I'm sure they want to put together something 1 year away. We'll cover that. We were just more like, we can't be doing all these little stories. Who had a fight with who? Go and check out Double Take on Patreon.
Anemone. So I don't think I'm going to rip Ruben for that point of view.
That's kind of bang on to me.
I think that I largely agree. I definitely agree with the critique on Ronan Day-Lewis. It felt almost like the best film school film I've ever seen.
Yes.
Where it felt like, yes, it's really good, but I can feel the effort in it. I can feel that, like, I want this
bluegill
to
slightly,
meaningful. Yeah. What did you think?
I think the same. Like, as a first out of bat, it's quite admirable for a film, but the fact that there is the Day-Lewis surname on it does make me think that. Like, I think I said very similar things. Like, it does slightly insist upon itself. It is probably pretentious. At its worst, it reminds me of really bad theatre, often made by students. So, like, I'm always very skeptical of monologuing in general because I'm like, there has to be a really good reason for someone to stand there and talk. And if anyone in the world is going to do it, it's Daniel Day-Lewis. And to be honest, like, he is very good.
He smashes it. And that was the two things I took away was, one, I love hearing good Northern accents in movies. As a Northerner. DDL did really well.
He did.
Obviously, Sean Bean knows what he's doing.
Like,
of course he did well. And two, if DDL's character was someone else, literally anyone else, I gave it 3 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. If it was anyone else, it probably would have been a 2, maybe less. Because like he takes it to another level.
Yes. One of the more interesting parts about it was the slightly meta. It's written by Ronan and Daniel about the idea of like convincing the father to come back. And I was like, there's something quite interesting there, which is maybe underexplored. I don't know.
There has to be an allegory in there for him being in Hollywood. And you know,
don't know anything about his personal life, but just that like he was quite obsessive and did withdraw himself for like 6 months to be a shoe cobbler to do something. This last one is from Craig, who writes in, Robert Pattinson Bond villain. Hello, both. Ooh. After your discussion about R-Pat making a good Bond, what about a Bond villain? You made some good points about the nastiness of one side of his Mickey 17 character, so I think it'd be a great fit to the villain role. Also, who would you like to see is the next series of Bond villains with some classics like Javier Bardem, Christopher Walken, Christopher Lee, Christoph Waltz, a lot of Chris's. Who should join them? Personally, I would like to see the likes of Jesse Plemons, Josh Brolin, Cillian Murphy, and Michael Fassbender. How about some female villains? Jodie Comer, Tilda Swinton, Sarah Snook? I have no idea. Let me know what you think. Thanks, Craig. Have we had any like mainline female Bond villains?
That sound was me going, what a great idea.
Yes,
Tilda Swinton has to be a Bond villain.
She'd be awesome,
She'd be so good.
She'd be so good.
What have there been?
I know there are like there are the evil Bond girls adjacent. But have we had no? Is that
I really
crazy?
don't want to get Benedict on the phone.
Yeah, get him Benedict on the phone.
I really don't want to be wrong about that. Just racking my brains. No, it's more like the femme fatale.
Yeah,
like adjacent to the villain.
Villainess who caused him problems.
Yeah. No, Tilda Swinton. Why have we not done that?
Did you see the thing about Tilda Swinton potentially being cast as Voldemort in the new series, but still as a male Voldemort, but played by Tilda Swinton?
I would fucking love that.
Which I think is really interesting. If you forget the fact that it's a whole gender thing, and that Voldemort's described as like obviously snake-like, Tilda Swinton's got a really interesting like appearance. You could like snake up, and he's described as having a really high-pitched, shrill voice, which lends itself to him being cast.
When I read that, I think I saw some like big disagreement of that in the comments. I was like, this feels like fucking
be really
like
cool.
Perfect.
If he was still Voldemort as a man, Tom Riddle, but they played on the physicality and like made him skeletal and snake-like. I'm like, that totally works.
So yeah, I agree in that. I agree that the gender switch of Tom Riddle may have other implications that I don't really care to look into right now. But I don't think it has implications for Voldemort to be played by a woman.
No.
If Voldemort remains sort of this androgynous snake,
he's not really ever male. There's nothing particularly
doesn't
masculine
really
about
matter
him.
like what
his,
he is.
His masculinity is never part of his personality over Harry.
The bloke didn't have a fucking nose in the film series, and we were fine with that. So if he didn't have a dick, it's all right.
If that's gone, you know his cock isn't
like I think that's perfectly viable within the sense that we're agreed he's not strictly human.
Because in Potter, like Harry finds father figures everywhere. It's Dumbledore, it's Hagrid, it's Sirius, it's Lupin. He's constantly looking for father figures, right? That should have been something that Voldemort would have played on, or that J.K. Rowling would have played on with Voldemort, and it never is, which makes me think him being a man is actually not important.
No.
Because they could have really unpacked like what it is to be like a male wizard. He's coming of age. That was never a thing with him and Voldemort, which makes me think him being man is just like irrelevant.
Yeah, right. Voldemort is, but off the top of our head, is there an issue with Tom Riddle being a female character? Not necessarily, but they wouldn't do that. I'm just saying that's an interesting thoughts shower.
Yeah, there's nothing about him that needs to be
about it needs to be woman.
Male.
Anyway,
it would just piss a lot of people off, though, wouldn't it?
It would, and it's unnecessary. But would Tilda Swinton piss people off? I don't think necessarily.
No, I just think like it would be a headline.
The Tom Riddle, it would be a headline for sure.
Headline.
And the classic villains, I think Christoph Waltz is lucky to get in that list, by the way, Craig. I just don't. He just did the Hans Lander.
A little bit. Yeah. But in terms of, I love the idea of seeing Jesse Plemons being a villain. He's good in everything. Cillian Murphy as well would be good.
Michael Fassbender, I don't think I can handle that because he was my pick for post Skyfall Bond if Craig didn't come back.
Yeah, he was just he wasn't popular at the right time. Fassbender would have been a brilliant Bond.
It's that he's slightly younger than Craig, only slightly, and so therefore
Craig
he
was
missed the
gonna
Craig
go.
pass, and then Craig didn't quit early enough for him to come on.
That was totally it.
But so I'm not really keen on that because but Cillian Murphy would definitely work. I think for me, I'm actually a bit Josh Brolin'd out a little bit.
I know what you mean.
And I think that he's actually at this point
too
now,
obvious as a villain casting, maybe.
possibly.
Yeah.
And he's actually at this summit of something. And I think one more step and you're on your way down. Like just stop there. Stop, because you've done Weapons, you've done, the Running Man, give or take.
Yeah.
What was the other one he did this year?
Dune, just recently Running Man.
Dune Part 2, obviously, but there was something else
Thanos,
he was in this year. Anyway, he's had a real good run.
Yeah.
And I would say he's like at his most respected point right now, especially with No Country for Old Men in his history.
Yeah.
Any more, and we might be getting into Pedro Pascal territory. He's in fucking Wake Up Dead, man.
That's it.
That was it.
Right, yeah.
And so I feel like I've seen him a lot.
It's a bit too much. Yeah.
So like if he might get into Pedro Pascal territory of like, can we just you're in
maybe
everything.
take a beat. Make
So I
them
wouldn't
want
want
you a
him.
bit more. Yeah.
But I assume this is all written and decided, and we're just there's just conjecture about something.
Well, I
that's
don't
already-
know. Me and George have a bet for a Twix Extra on whether or not I said a pizza. He dumbed it down to Twix, but whether or not we'll get a James Bond casting announcement by the end of the year.
No, January.
So, interesting. So, June Part 3 has just finished filming,
Right.
which lends it to think that he's obviously got to edit that, but maybe he'll start casting Bond now.
Do you think that,
My argument was he's filming June. That's a huge thing to do. He's not going to have time to be interviewing
Interesting.
Bonds and doing it. It's going to be next year once he finishes June, or when June is edited and he's waiting to release it.
let me just deep this right now. Like what?
So originally when it was announced this to me, was that spring, summer?
Yeah.
When was that? George was like, we'll get a Bond casting announcement by the end of the year. And I was like, cool. He's also got to make June 3. And
Yeah.
he's shooting that now. Or he was going to shoot
So
it.
I
I'm
think-
like, you can't be chatting to Bonds.
What I'm trying to just really process is like, if I'm actually in the office at Amazon MGM, what stage are we at right now? I think we're at,
Zero.
hey Denny, we've been doing a lot of work in the background. We've got it down to 3. And these are the 3 we'd be happy with, and now we want your input. That's what I think they're at now. I don't think they're at like, let's put a casting call out. I don't think they're there.
I think pre the acquisition by Amazon, they were close. And I think Aaron Taylor Johnson was probably going to be it.
Right.
He signed that Omega Watch deal,
Yeah.
and I think that had already been signed, and he
Yeah.
had to follow through with it, and that's why it was so awkward. I think it all got signed over. I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson was wiped out, but it was essentially like, this is all new.
Yeah,
you need to let
right.
us start all over again. Denis, although not having final cut, is going to want to make a film that he's interested in making. Much as I'm sure the last film would have been interesting, I think ultimately with new people at the head of it, that's you've got to assume that that's all changed. They will take the audition tapes and have a look, and by all means, like, hear what they liked about whoever they were close to casting. But ultimately, I think it's basically start over again and get your fucking act together.
And you don't.
I think it was like, let's get Denis the best man for the job, the best custodian of an IP, but he's got a little film called June 3 he needs to make. He's going to have to wrap that up.
But you don't feel like Bezos has done a little bit of filtration before he hands that task over to Denis? I think he's handing over a shortlist.
Yeah, but do you say, I'll happily hire the best even though I have to wait?
You mean actor?
Director, I think. I think it's like, you can have Denis, who's probably the best man for the job, but you're going to have to wait another 9 months, but it will be great.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, what Denis being handed a shortlist of actors now?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. Rather than an open casting call right now.
Yeah.
I think they already know it's going to be one of these 5 names.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think they know it's going to be X, Y, Z, whatever. And Denis is now. It's almost like, not to sportsify it, but it's almost like Amarim at United, comes in and he's like, he doesn't get pick on the transfers.
No.
But you can say, I might need a left back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jim Radcliffe is there.
Right. So he's been on the phone.
Are you a United fan?
No.
Oh, right.
No,
Just come up twice.
So he's been on the phone from the desert, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he said, look, I'm looking for a bit of intensity. I'm looking for someone who's brooding, someone who's over 6'5". I don't know, something. And then they've taken that and they're delivering him a shortlist. That's I've literally made this about nothing. I can't believe that it's an open casting call from now. That would seem like
Not
such a
open.
logical step.
I think ultimately, as much as it's like who's best for Bond, it's who's best for Denis to work with at the same time.
True, yeah.
So I think all of that has to be. This is very much double take conversation.
It's got to work for Denis and it's got to work for Amazon in the long run, because someone's going to come on next.
Sign off.
And in regards to the end of the year thing, it's either going to be, here's a little Christmas gift to the Bond fans, which would be lovely.
It would be cool.
Or, because Amazon giving a Christmas gift would be very Amazon. Or it's going to be like March.
Alexa's going to announce it in everyone's house.
Like the U2 album on the phones, it's just going to come out on Christmas Day. James Bond is.
It's all a ruse. They've already made it. You log into Prime, and then you just see James Bond. It's fucking Henry Cavill.
It's just a prompt when you say, "Hey Alexa, what's the weather today?" She goes, "Would you like to know the name of the new James Bond?"
Yeah,
you know when she says, "Would you like this new
Jack
routine?"
Loudon.
Yeah. So I think if it's not Christmas, it'll be March next year potentially.
Well, there's a Twix extra on the line for whoever wins that.
And you win if it's after the new year.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
You got the
before
Twix,
Christmas.
You got the Twix in the bag.
Yeah, and he was like regular Twix, and I was like, I'm going to make it a Twix extra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not a pizza,
and we will
fill you
live hand over that Twix if I win on the first episode of the new year of Double Take. So it's good. And we will open it and I'll eat it.
That's going to be a social clip. That's going to go big. That's a big one. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sending in all of your emails. As always, if you want to send in your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your reviews, you can send them in to
hello@pulpkitchenpodcast.com.
Thank you so much. Fred, should we play a game?
Let's play a game. This is what I'm here for, really.
Okay, Fred.
Yes.
As always, Pulp Kitchen ends
with a game.
With a game. You are the guest and therefore you are in the hot seat.
Yeah.
I have 2 games for you. The first game, Fred, is name 5 in 5. No, you have to name 5.
Are you all right?
Yeah, it's called You Have to Name 5 times. The last person I played this game with was Edgar Wright. And so now I'm going to play it with you. I'm going to quick fire.
These were really good clips with Edgar
They're
Wright.
great. Yeah, they're great fun. They did quite well. So I thought I'd give it to you. I'm going to ask you to name 5 of something 5 times. And we're going to do that twice. And I've got another game for you.
Nice.
Right? These are super random. And Fred, I mean it, it's quick fire.
Why am I nervous?
You've got to get these.
You've got to
get these.
Go.
All right? This is name 5 times.
Okay.
Fred, you have to name 5 times. 3, 2.
I'm sorry.
What?
Whoa. What's happening? What's happening? Wait,
so, for example,
hold on.
I'm going to go.
But you said to Edgar Wright, name 5 movies with running in it.
Yeah, like for example, so I might say, Fred, name 5 Denis Villeneuve movies, and you'd have to go, Arrival.
But you haven't given me the category yet, right?
Not yet. I'm about to
You said 3, 2, 1, and I was like, what am I doing?
I'm gonna tell you.
Right,
You'll get it. You'll get it.
All right.
So one question might be like, name 5 Denis Villeneuve movies. And I'll be like, name 5 Daniel Craig movies, and you just got to name 5.
So that I understood. It was the countdown that really.
It's to build intensity for the clip.
Fine.
Ready?
Yeah.
Fred, you have to name 5 5 times.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Name 5 Tom Hanks movies.
Sleepless in Seattle. You've Got Mail.
Yep.
Castaway.
Yep.
Captain Phillips, and Big.
Very well done. Name 5 films that have come out this year.
Fuck. Weapons, One Battle After Another, Wake Up Dead Man, Blue Moon, and Frankenstein.
Very good. Name 5 franchises with at least 5 films.
Oh my God. Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Fast and Furious?
Yes.
With at least 5 films.
You're missing some real big ones.
Wait, hold on. Harry Potter?
Yes.
With at least 5 movies? Wait.
You're going to kick yourself.
No,
I'm going to have to
stop
push you
it.
for an answer.
No. With at least 5? 5?
That's wrong.
No. What? Tell me the answer.
Star Wars.
Oh my
The
fucking
MCU.
No.
Right, that one you
I was going to
failed.
say Lord of the Rings universe, which is a real cop out.
Oh, you could have, because there's The Hobbit. That would have worked.
Oh, that would have counted. Oh, fine.
Ready. Name 5 films with numbers in the title, but no sequels, if that makes sense. You can't do Toy Story 2.
Oh, that's really difficult.
5 films with numbers in the title.
Okay. Am I going?
Yeah.
Okay. Two for the money.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
1 Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
3 is Company. I think no. There's a film called 3 is Company or something like that.
That sounds about right.
It sounds like a film. It sounds like a film. Yeah. I'm just going through the numbers. 4 Lions.
Yep.
I'm going up to 5. What are we going to do? 5. The Magnificent 7.
Yes. Good.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. Name 5 films that have won Best Picture.
Titanic.
Yep.
The Hurt Locker.
Yep.
12 Years a Slave.
Yep.
Green Book.
Yep.
And Parasite.
Very well done. That was your first round.
That was round 1? Oh my God.
I
I'm going to recover
loved
from
watching you sweat there. That was brilliant.
I fucking loved that. That's so exhilarating.
That was your first round of Name 5 times.
Okay.
Are you ready for your next round?
Yeah, fuck. Wow.
Fred,
Okay.
you have to name 5 times.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Name 5 Samuel L. Jackson films.
Black Snake Moan, Snakes on a Plane, Pulp Fiction, is it Pulp Kitchen?
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson, Time to Kill,
Yep.
and Attack the Clones.
Yep. Name 5 Spider-Man characters that aren't Spider-Man.
I might fail on this one. Dr. Octopus,
Yep.
Mary, what's her name?
Mary Jane.
Mary
yeah.
Jane, yeah. Aunt May.
Yeah.
Fucking Uncle Dickhead. What's his
Ben,
name?
yeah.
Uncle Ben.
One more.
Venom?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Wow, I was bad at that one.
Name 5 of the toys in Toy Story.
Forky.
Yeah. Sporky. Yeah.
Oh, I can go for the main characters.
Yeah.
Oh, fine. I thought it was deep cuts. Woody, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
And Rex.
Yeah, done.
Okay.
Name 5 films directed by David Fincher.
Oh, Panic Room, Fight Club, Seven, Zodiac, Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Last one. Name all 5 Indiana Jones films.
Indiana Jones, it's just Raiders of the Lost Ark, then
Yeah.
Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones Last Crusade, Kingdom of Crystal Skull, and Dial of Destiny.
Well done, Fred. You have named 5.
Hey, can we have a high
times.
five? Because I think I did all right there.
You did really
Fuck
well.
yes.
You got all of
I
them.
loved that.
I love that franchises with 5 films got you.
What the fuck? Marvel.
Jurassic Park could have worked.
Jurassic
the MCU,
Park.
the DCU.
No, the one you
Terminator
said first
could
was the
have
one
counted.
that got me.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, that's the one that was obvious.
You could do Terminator, Fast and Furious. I think you said Fast. Did you say Fast?
Terminator's good. I did say Fast and Furious. I said Fast and Furious,
Toy
Harry
Story,
Potter.
technically. Because that will have fun.
Yeah,
on a
I
pinch.
nearly said that. Yeah. Oh well, that was the one failure, but I think otherwise I'm pretty happy.
Yeah,
pretty
you did
happy.
well.
Edgar Wright's ones were a bit harder. Running is harder.
Yeah.
And what was the other one he had?
Oh, we did name 5 aliens in movies. 5 fictional sci-fi planets.
Right. Oh, that's really hard. That's
Yeah.
only one.
But you go
Fred-
Star Wars there. You go Star Wars.
I
and that
would
helps.
fail at that.
Oh, really?
Would you be
Okay,
all right
fine.
at that?
If I went to Star Wars, yeah, I could do.
Okay, yeah.
Do 5.
I'm not like I'm not an encyclopedic film viewer.
Yes,
I just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
retain things, even things I love.
Yeah,
I don't know what your name is.
You should try playing these games with George. He's fucking dictionary.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
is.
he's
Right,
crazy.
Yeah, he would have
All
done
right.
better than me at that though. I think I was very good at that.
Fred, you have not let yourself down at all.
Thank you very
When You
much.
watch these back. I have one more game for you, Fred.
Oh,
This game-
shit. Yeah, the fun
there's one more
continues. All right, let's do
Just
it.
one round of this game. This is a newer game that we're enjoying because it's kind of like a temp check on how out of touch you are for where the masses feel about films. This is Price is Right Rotten Tomatoes edition.
This is my favorite game.
Great.
Right.
So I have got 8 movies here, and you have to, I've written down their Rotten Tomatoes score as of today in 2025. And you
Audience
have to guess.
or critic?
This is the tomato meter.
Which is a combination.
I think it's just, I don't know actually. It's whatever the first tomato number is on the site.
I think that's the critic score.
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay.
Should we check that?
Yeah,
It's really
just-
important for the game.
That is important for the game. I
Is-
just did whatever.
What is the tomato meter?
So when I type in the movie into Google, the
Professional
Rotten
critic
Tomatoes.
reviews. Professional critics.
Fine.
So
Okay.
they have amateur critics as well, but this is just professional.
Okay, fine. So you know when you go on Google and you just type in a film, and then on the right side there's
Yeah.
a tomato. That's what I've done.
Yes.
So whatever you want to deduce from that is what it's going to be.
Got it. I'm going to type in Titanic and see what number that is, and then I'm going to see what the Rotten Tomatoes is for
Just to
Titanic.
gauge.
Yeah.
What is
okay.
Titanic?
I've got it. We're ready. Titanic is 88.
Okay, interesting. Fred, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You have to guess these films' Rotten Tomatoes score. Oh, by the way, sorry. I'll accept as a correct answer anything 2% either side of the correct answer.
Okay, cool.
So you sort of got like a broadly 5% window.
So it's. I've always thought, by the way, it's not quite Price is Right, which is higher or lower.
no,
It's
sort
just
of,
a guess.
Just
yeah,
a
this
guess.
is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no pattern in terms of you're not going higher or lower.
There is a
necessarily.
mixture of very good films, very bad films, and sort
Okay,
of middling films
fine.
on this list.
Fine.
So, for example, if the answer was 70%, but you said 68, I'd say that counts as a correct.
Fantastic.
69, but 67, you have a laugh. mate.
You need some kind of Top Gear board of like who's done best
Done the
here.
best. Well,
Do you
you
know
already
what is?
guessed who's been on outside of
So I'm going to be top though.
Yeah.
What is a
Wet-
good
wet
result?
weather.
Yeah. What is a good result here? How do we normally do on this? Remind me.
Don't know. Just a bit of fun, innit?
Can you tell I'm
know.
competitive? Or?
Yeah. How do I win?
yeah. How can we tell that I'm a better host than George?
And of
That's what we
course,
wanna-
everyone play along at home. Fred, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You have to guess these films from. Fred, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You have to guess the Rotten Tomato scores of these films.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
American Beauty,
High 93.
87, almost. Spectre,
Oh, 72.
63. Forrest Gump,
89.
75.
Yeah.
Lower.
Yeah.
Parasite,
Oh. 98.
99. I'll give it.
Yes.
Batman and Robin.
Oh, the Joel Schumacher
Yeah.
movie. 75.
That is, it's 11.
I love that movie.
That is the lowest on this list.
I really like that
It's
film.
an 11%.
Oh my God.
All right, About Time.
Oh, that's a good 84.
It's 71.
What the fuck?
The Human Centipede 3, the final sequence.
33.
No, 17. Whiplash.
Oh, 94.
94, bang
Yes!
on! Bang on! Last one, Black Widow.
Oh. 50.
79.
No.
Can you believe Black Widow is a 79?
There was bias toward those movies in the era, you know?
Come on, that's not an 80%er. That film, I agree with you. What did you say, 50 something?
Yeah, I said 50.
I say it's lucky to be in the 50s.
Most of them are.
Yeah. So just to run through, you got. So it was
I got two.
Yeah, that's two. I think that was perfectly fine. You did really well to get Whiplash bang on.
Oh, yeah.
So American Beauty 87, Spectre 63, Forrest Gump 75, which I think is low for Forrest Gump.
Yeah, you could have gone either way with that one. You could either go, is it the Oscar darling that everyone
Yes.
loves, or is it the
could have been 91?
retrospectively disliked movie?
100%.
You know?
Parasite 99, understandable. Batman and Robin, you gave, 70 something?
I really like that movie, yeah. It's an old childhood
That's
favourite, that one.
11%. About Time at 71. Human Centipede 3 at 17. Whiplash 94, Black Widow 79.
Do you know what's really good about this game? It shows your inherent like personal preference.
It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was sort of like you inflate things that you're like, no, everyone does like that. Just shows you've always got your echo chamber.
And also just like how the internet rating works, and like, oh, like there are so many films that are in the 70s. And I'm like, it's not a 70s film, or it's not as in like 70% of film. Like, that's not how good this film is. It's just for some reason in this pocket of the internet. Just thriving, and I'm like, okay.
it's Rotten Tomatoes is positive or negative. It's not 5 stars, 4 stars.
That's what I was saying to George. I was like, it's just an upvote or a downvote, isn't it? George was saying maybe it wasn't. So I run this game. I should really find out how it's done. But I was like, like there's no nuance to the voting. What I thought it's like it's either a yes or a no, which doesn't take into account lots of like if a film's very divisive. It gets a half score, but that doesn't mean that it's half as good.
I know what you're saying. What you're getting at, I think, if I'm right, is saying that if you have a movie that is sort of borderline, I think it's more if you have a movie that's agreeably good, it gets an extremely high score. Yeah. For example, a movie that I thought recently that was passable, but I know has an extremely high Rotten Tomatoes score is The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson.
Right, yeah.
Because I think everyone saw that and we're like, we love comedies back on the screen.
Yes.
And it's good.
It works by just getting a thumbs up.
Right, so thumbs up. So I think that's in the 90s. When, if you were rating that movie, are you going to give it in 4 to 5 out of 5? I wouldn't personally. Yeah. So yeah, it's a strange review, but it is a good marker of like general consensus.
Yeah.
And it's a good marker of like, is it worth my time?
Quite flawed, isn't it? Because in some ways, Metacritic could be viewed as better because it aggregates all of the scores that things are given if you believe in review scores.
Right.
And it averages them, but it weighs certain outlets more, but it doesn't tell you what outlets have a higher weight than others.
Right.
So that can be quite useful because the Metacritic, like if it's you'll just average it and you're like, oh, okay. But I don't believe in review scores personally. So
you don't?
No, I don't. Famously, there's a lot of people. I've been on quite a few rants about it.
Have you?
Yeah,
oh,
I really don't. Like, that's why I don't have Letterboxd. I really
haven't-
dislike the scoring system.
I never clicked that you don't do ratings on this show.
Never.
Literally never realised.
Do you know what? I tell a lie. I've done it before to help describe like how a series of a TV show has ebbed and flowed. I'll be like, that was something. And do you know what? I've described things as that's 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
or
you'd be like, that's a 5-star movie.
A 7 can be a really useful thing to say. But what I refuse to do is to have this like public list of like all the films I've reviewed and everyone to say, oh, but you gave Babylon a 7.2.
Yeah.
And the more granular the scale is, the stupider it is.
You're vulnerable to people dissecting.
People say, yeah, but you gave that and that, and that's that. And it's like, I may have said that back then, but now my view has changed. And like, I don't want to be held to it.
That's
so
completely
if
fair.
I was to give a rating, it would probably be the least granular. It would be like a 5 out of 5 thing. I'd much rather do that.
I think the term like 5-star movie is a valuable one.
Totally.
And also I think the term 3-star movie is a valuable one.
I get it.
You'd be
Yeah,
like, it's
totally.
a 3-star
It's
movie.
really
It's
useful.
like it's a good passable movie.
Yeah.
I personally love granular letterbox reviews, as does George.
Yep.
I am just like the type A-est of type A-est person, and I comb through those reviews, and I'm like, if someone looked at this, would I stand by this?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I never wanted to get into the habit of like, I hate 100-point scales. We're like, yeah, it's an 88. And then you go, oh, but I gave Oppenheimer like a 91, but this is better than Oppenheimer. So therefore it's like, the more you look into it, the more it breaks down.
Who's doing 100-point scales?
A lot of people. Yeah, they go, oh yeah, I give it a 74. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing
No,
here?
they're not. I think
and also
really.
it's just like, why are you assigning a numerical value to art that detailed? It's like, and then some people say, oh, but you can't ever give something a 10 out of 10 or 100. And it's like, because that means perfect. Does it mean perfect or does it mean masterpiece? Like the more everyone has a different idea of what an 8 means and what a 9 means.
Yeah.
And I really think that you should take in consideration who's reviewing it, like we just did today with Wicked for Good. Yeah. It's like, I will say where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that my opinion is more or less valid, but it almost is like, oh, I get James is like coming from this angle. He might get more out of this movie than I would. It doesn't mean that he gives a rating that's definitive and that's what it is.
So
it should always be a conversation and an opinion. And you don't assign a
I agree. The
mathematical
granularity
number.
makes it more silly. Like I would love Letterboxd to actually just have full stars because it would take the pressure off the half.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the half.
That's technically a 10-point scale.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't we just do it on 10?
Yeah.
So I don't mind the half as a kind of final point. Anyone doing it out of 100 with single-digit points, they need to go in an asylum.
Yeah,
Like,
what's
that's
going
nuts. And another one I don't like is the Americanized A+, B+.
Yeah,
C-.
again,
Just what does that
what does that
mean?
mean?
What does that
What are
mean?
you talking about? We're all just like finding new ways to do it. Just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And like read a review. And you know what happens a lot of the time is when articles have an out of 10 at the end of them. A lot of and it's like it's a text review, but they just scroll down to the bottom to see what number it got, and you're not actually reading why it got that number. So anyway, I could go on for ages about why I don't like.
So
reviews.
the game suits you because Rotten Tomatoes, it does more suit your approach.
Maybe
A thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah, like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, like yes or no.
And I think it is valuable for that reason.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners what you, let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
James, what is your 10 out of 10? You have to put a number. You have to put a name to the number just this one time. Tell us your 10
out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
School of Rock.
Fuck yeah. I heard the perfect movie episode. Give me another one.
School of Rock.
No. Okay, give me like a 7 out of 10. Give me a 7 out of 10. Put a name to that number.
A 7 out of 10 film. Oh god, there must be so many. I could tell you some from films this year. I just had to go because there were quite a lot of 7 out of 10 films. Hold on, stand by.
Because you mentioned that as a digit that you get some value out of.
I'd say a 7 out of 10 most recently would be. I'd say the Ballad of Wallace Island for me is a 7 out of 10. Nice. I know some people really like it, and I'm not saying, but it's like if 7 for me is like good, should go see. I don't think it blew me away. Yeah. It was exactly in that.
Great
that
example.
zone. So many people when we've done film bites were like, oh, what's a great recent film not enough people saw, or what's the best film of the year? A lot of people have said Ballad of Wallace Island. So it's really like a people's vote.
Yeah, still need to catch that.
Yeah.
One.
What about you? What do you say is a 7?
Well, do you know what? I've done a search.
Of course, you can go and follow you on Letterboxd.
Go and follow me on Letterboxd, and you can see a 7 out of 10 movie. Do you know what? I'm going to give you my most recent 7 out of 10 movie.
Please do.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you fucking ready?
Now You See Me is a 7 out of 10 film.
The first one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just generally, like really solid, really good. Yeah.
My most recent 7 out of 10 was Die My Love.
Yeah. Right? 7 out of 10. Totally.
That's actually a good example.
It's useful to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Fred, thank you so much for coming on Pulp Kitchen.
This was
brilliant.
Time.
No, it's been absolutely wonderful having you. And I know you've taken the whole time out of your day to come and do this. Both me and George massively appreciate it. And I know we've said this a bunch of times, you must rinse us for content whenever you want.
100%. Mate,
use us.
As I said before the recording, I do nothing. I'm very happy to be here. And no, it's honestly flattering to be invited. Big fan. Thank you very much.
Go and follow at Fred Asquith on every social media platform. And if you love what he has to say about films, is it Fred on Film?
Fred Asquith on Film.
Fred Asquith on Film.
Yeah.
He does a wonderful podcast where he talks about the films, and it's brilliant. And you should just go and follow all of Fred's amazing stuff. So
thank you
so much. We will see you next week for more Pulp Kitchen.
See you later.
Care.
Bye.